Hello, Internet people. I'm Nick.
I'm Josiah.
We're friends.
We're playing Marvel Rivals.
We're friends and rivals. Hello, it's episode 17 now, Friends and Rivals, Marvel Rivals podcast. And
What's
we've
us?
got season 2.5, which is about to come out for you, or already out by the time this is out. Uh, so today we're talking all season 2.5 all the time. So it's going to be Dev Vision, Ultron, team ups, tease for the balance patch a little bit, and the battle pass sort of combat chest thing that's coming out. There's a bunch of things that are happening,
Yes,
and
indeed.
new map. That's another
Yeah.
thing. And then next week, as we usually do on a season update, next week we'll talk more in depth, going through all the balance patch notes, and we'll talk through our first impressions of Ultron in season 2.5 now that we've actually played it.
Yep.
And we'll talk about the hero hot list with the balance patch stuff there. But
Yeah.
yeah, this week we're looking forward to what you guys are probably already playing. So,
Yeah.
Josiah, how are you doing this week?
Yeah. Doing good. Nothing too crazy other than thinking more and more about being a father of two now and all the
Yeah,
stuff that comes with that.
yeah. A
Um,
bunch of people reached out and said congrats.
yeah,
That was
I
nice.
know. That was so nice. It's so weird that I have that. I feel so loved. But yeah, just enjoying my time as a I almost said single dad. Not a single dad, but a father of one.
Dad of one. Yeah.
Dad of single child. Um, I put on
Only
his
dad.
yeah, only dad. No,
That,
still
no,
not that.
don't. No.
um,
Forget I said
the
that.
the yeah, I put my son's hanging with dad shirt on today and took him to this freaking amazing like adventure place that we have near us that I'm definitely dragging you and your boys to when you guys move out here. It's so freaking cool. It's like we had a place kind of similar to this back at ye olde home, but basically it's like a city for kids. You have like grocery store, restaurant, fire station,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
ambulance, like veterinary area, like doctor's office, bank. And then you have like car workshop with like you can disassemble pieces of the car and like fix stuff, airplane, water park, kind of not like
Oh.
slides or things, but like water play area,
Yeah, yeah.
with like sciency water things. There's a whole like climbing jungle slides. It's crazy.
I've seen
um
I've seen some like janky versions of what you're describing in
yeah,
the
yeah,
malls
yeah,
around here, but
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, sounds like a really cool one.
Yeah, this was not janky at all. Like it was they yeah, except for I can't believe like how could you do this and leave it? There was one part of it that I was just like laughing the whole time every time we walked past it. You could tell that someone thought they were being smart, but they were actually being very dumb. They had an ambulance, and on the front it had ambulance but mirrored. So it
Well, yeah,
was huh?
that's what an ambulance. They're like that on the real ambulance too.
No, when you look at it, it doesn't spell ambulance. It,
Backwards,
it
because it's supposed to read as ambulance in your mirror if you're looking behind you.
but not on the side.
Oh, on the side? Wait. I gotta look up an ambulance now.
Oh no. Wait, I'm a licensed EMT. Am I an idiot?
You
Have
might
I
be.
ever? I mean, my license has expired now, but uh,
It's
pause.
not. It's not backwards on the side, but it is backwards on the hood.
Okay.
Yeah. It's backwards on the hood
Huh.
so that in your mirror, you can see them. Here, I'm putting a picture.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow,
Well,
that's a very tiny picture in an unsupported format. Thank you, Google Docs. Never mind. But yes, it's backwards on the hood so that you can read ambulance if you can't tell that the giant white
it's such
thing
a
with
weird
sirens.
fact for you to know, especially since every single ambulance that I'm looking up does not have ambulance written on the front. Like, why do you know that?
I don't know why I know that.
Like, I'm looking up the ambulance, like AMR, for example. Okay,
Here,
this is
here you
turning
go.
into something completely different, but it's not written on there.
Look at
The
that
only
one.
thing on there is AMR, and it's right on the and it's spelled straightforward. We
This
gotta.
is from an ambulance manufacturing company website.
But why do you? What ambulance have you seen?
I don't know. I've seen an ambulance that has it on backwards,
That's
and then
so
learn that fun fact
interesting.
from someone. I don't remember why.
Wow. Okay. Well, uh,
I just pick up stuff and then don't know how to let go of it. I don't know.
that's so specific. Oh man. Okay. Well. Anyway, how are you?
Yeah. No, I'm good. I don't really have too much to say this week. My in-laws were in town because it was my wife's birthday this weekend, and so we just had a bunch of food and it was fun. But rivals wise, this is podcast patch notes territory, so I'm not going to go into it right
Okay.
now because I'll mention it in the patch notes. But we had someone talk to us about the Thor on our Discord about the Thor ult that we were kind of low on,
Yeah.
and like told me a different way to think about it that like makes it pretty nasty. And then combining that with the Thor changes that are going to happen in 2.5, I was like, I got to try Thor again. Like
Yeah.
this looks fun. I got to try him again. So I started playing a little bit of Thor, and I'm having a lot of fun with him. Like
Okay.
a lot more than I remember.
Yeah.
Um,
But are you having more fun
and
with his alt? Is the question.
yes,
Oh, okay.
yes, indeed. Uh,
Okay.
yeah,
Oh,
I'm
I'm
thinking
excited
about
to
it
hear.
a little bit more like a Psylocke ult, where you hammer throw yourself right above a couple strategists and then let
Okay.
loose, and
I like that wombo combo.
it's been pretty good.
Yeah. I want to
Speaking of
behold the
Psylocke,
God of Thunder.
we we based our Penny Hero Spotlight pretty heavily on Cool Guy's Penny Guide, and he
Mhm.
came out with a Psylocke guide a couple days ago,
Ooh.
which reignited my interest in Psylocke, and oh man,
Right before they nerf her.
I have a new main again. Yeah, but well, that was the nice thing is he was basing the guide off of the post nerf
Yes. I
numbers.
actually did. That's funny. I didn't remember that I watched it until you said that right now because I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
that's right. I remember him opening the video with that.
And his point was that, and I think he's right because when
Yeah,
you
it
look
should
at
still
it, the
apply.
things that they changed they're not going to do that much to her. Like
Yeah.
she's going to be pretty much same breakpoints. So yeah. Anyway, having a lot of fun with Thor and Psylocke, and we'll see where that goes.
Yeah, yeah. Well, cool. Instead of talking about all of that in the intro, let's move on to our news segment, which is the majority of today's episode. News here. Get your news here. We got dev visions. We got new maps, new heroes, new patch notes, new balance updates, new battle pass issues. We we uh we got news. um hope you
Ishes
enjoyed
love
that.
battle passes.
Yeah, battle pass ish. Um Kicking off the news segment with the Dev Vision Volume 6. Great stuff as usual. I saw one of the top comments was like, I can't believe how much information they fit into, like, I think this one was 13 minutes or something like that. And yeah, these are so cool. Like live service game developers, social media engagement officers, whatever your titles are. Please take notes. This stuff is so good just to see what the philosophy, there's that word again, behind the choices they're making is. I think what the philosophies are. I think it's so great to see. So some cool takeaways that I had from this. The Ultron Battle Matrix protocol is freaking wild, dude.
Yeah, dude.
I'm I it's funny. I saw a comment, a Spotify comment before I saw the Dev Vision video, and I was like, what is he talking about? Oh, he must
Yeah.
mean like, yeah, we got a comment about the Armed and Dangerous game that we play, and the person was, I should have just copied and pasted it, but they're like, oh, you'll have to do this in the new mode, and I'm like,
Here,
oh,
I
he
got it.
must mean like, okay, yeah, go ahead.
I got it. Dallywag00 said, still loving the podcast and congratulations on the second kid. If the new game mode is out, the next time you guys do an episode, you should run the Armed and Dangerous game in game and tell us how it goes.
Yeah. Well, we can. I didn't
That is
understand what
brilliant.
I didn't understand what he meant because I hadn't seen it yet. But yeah, so the Battle Matrix protocol, you get to create your own team with some like nutty perks and modifiers on characters, and basically just like battle arena, let them loose and fight each other.
Yeah,
And
it's like Team Fight Tactics or like Dota Auto Chess or something like that. If
yeah,
you
yeah, yeah,
guys have
yeah.
played any of those.
Tabs.
But except you also have, it looks like an Ultron drone where you can kind of like
Yeah.
heal your dudes a little bit.
Manipulate.
So yeah, there's a little bit of active stuff in there, but it
Right.
looks super cool. You're like buying upgrades for characters in there. 100%. I mean, I assume that they have to have a custom game so you can play against a friend, because this is the type of game mode that you
Yeah.
don't just want to play against random people.
Right.
100%. If they do that, we need to find a way, like, because I think it'll be too long and not visual enough to like
Yeah.
do it on the podcast.
Right.
But we
We'll do
could
it
like
before
take our
and talk about
team.
the results.
Well, but then we can't draft the team, right?
Oh,
So like
that's true.
we could, I think what we could do is we could take the team that we drafted in the previous episode, and sometime between episodes just like play that against each other depending on how
Yeah.
long it is. And
Yeah,
then we
yeah,
can,
yeah.
that'll be who actually wins, not like,
Right, right.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Except it's a limited event, unfortunately, so we won't be able to do it.
Did they
Like,
say that?
yeah, they said June 6th, and I'm pretty sure they said a limited
I
for a
thought it was
limited
just
time.
I thought it was just coming.
I don't think so. But
No, I don't see. I'm thumbing through the video and I don't see them saying it going away at any time, but they also don't say it's permanent. So
but they call it an event because they talk about how like what they've learned from past events and stuff like that. So I
they're
think
calling it they're calling it a mode. Oh, there we go.
yeah,
Limited time
limited time game
experimental
mode.
mode.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Dang it.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna have to do it
Yeah.
while it's active.
As a limited time experimental feature of Armed and
Yeah, yeah.
Dangerous.
The
So
season 2.5 season of Armed and Dangerous should do this. Yeah.
yeah, yes. I'm excited for that. I don't know that this is what I think it's funny how they're like, hey, this is how people want to live out their hero fantasy. And I'm like, I'm super down for it. I don't know that this is what literally anyone was thinking about when you were talking about like new unique game modes. But hey, go for it,
I'm in.
Neddies. Like
Yeah.
I'm down. I
Netties,
did.
they
Yeah.
know the meta. Like Hearthstone added one of these kind of game modes and it just like took over Hearthstone, right? And
Oh, really?
like it's, it became a huge thing with Dota, it became a huge thing with Riot when they did Teamfight Tactics. Like
Yeah. Uh-huh.
this is just like the mode that takes over and makes everyone really excited. So yeah.
Yeah.
There's a chance.
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited for it. I think it's cool.
Someday we
Um,
might be an Ultron Battle Matrix Protocol podcast that, does Rivals news every once in a while.
Yeah, right. What's the new meta in the Matrix? Oh man. But anyway, a couple other things. The emojis, I'm super excited about.
Yeah.
The moods and emojis. I really hope they don't say it. They don't like clarify specifically, but I really hope that emojis can be seen by enemy players, and
I would
not
assume
just
so.
teammates.
Yeah. So if you haven't seen any of this, because we are delivering news, they've announced in the division that they're calling them moods, and
Well, there's two different things. There's a mood,
right.
which you can like set on your avatar, I believe, that shows like I didn't see an example of it, but it like indicates your mood,
You can set it on on your what's it
your
called? Your
nameplate.
nameplate.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
then but then those same like emotes, like those same emoticon graphics that you can use on the mood, those same emote packs can also be used in game to just throw up a little
Right,
like
right, right.
emote bubble over your head. Um, so that'll be fun. I'm sure there's going to be one that turns like in Snap. There's a Miss Marvel like thumbs up that everyone like universally knows is like the middle finger and not
Sarcastic.
actually. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sure there will be one that turns into the
Yeah, man.
like screw you in particular emote. But yeah,
I love it. Well, let me use them immediately post death, so that I can show my displeasure when I get Iron Fist
yeah,
solo as a strategist. But
yeah. This is
yeah,
one of those features. It's like a tiny little thing. It doesn't really mean anything, but it like it's great. Like it's
yeah.
just yeah, and it gives them another way to monetize that's not related to gameplay and not related to all these other
Mhm.
things. Like they can sell these emote packs for each character over time, and everyone will get like one or two of them for their mains or whatever. And
Yeah.
yeah, it'll be
Did you
fun.
happen to see? Did they? I didn't catch it if there was one. Was there a price listed on it for how much
I
they cost? They showed the Jeff one, but
Yeah, I think I saw a screenshot in the preview stream where it was going to be like 400 for the ones that you can buy.
oh, okay, nice.
Which is the same as like if you shoot, what else is 400? Like the emote, like the big brain emotes were 400. I think a lot of nameplates are like
Yeah,
400.
that's
So
right.
it's
I keep
kind of in
forgetting that
that
you can buy. You could have
similar,
bought those.
yeah, it's kind of in that similar spray nameplate kind of realm. So it
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
think these are cooler than buying a nameplate. So yeah.
yeah, 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 for sure, for sure. Um, Couple other things. So they talked a lot about their team ups and the evolution of team ups in the game. And man, these team ups are absolutely crazy. I'm super excited to see these in game. And I mentioned in 2.0 that I know obviously they can't just like team up creep the game and add more and more and more, but that I would still like to see some more. And I think the way they balanced it out this time was cool because we did end up getting more team ups than they like strictly just took away, which
Yeah.
is cool.
Yeah, I think largely that's because they're keeping it to one team up per character with a couple of exceptions like
Hmm.
Storm has two, right?
Yeah, yeah,
But so like most of the increase in number of team ups is because like this patch they took a whole bunch of 3-person team ups and separated them out into more 2-person team ups, right?
yeah,
So like we're not getting a single new 3-person team up, which I think is interesting.
yeah,
Um, but we're getting a whole bunch of new pairs out of pulling apart, the existing ones that they took away. So,
yeah,
do we want to spend some time like talking about the team ups right now? I don't think we have another slot for it later
yeah.
on.
We
So,
can. We can for sure.
okay, so there's 6 new team ups in season 2.5, and they are all pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
You want to
excited
just
for team ups
pass it
and
off one after
terrified of
another?
some of them. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Let's do it. So first we got Symbiote Shenanigans, which is a fantastic name. It's going to be Jeff and Venom, and
Hmm.
yeah, so Venom is now the anchor, and he shares. It looks like the same graphics as the as Venom's right click ability, where he
Yeah.
pulls the
Hmm.
tendrils out, except
It's on
he actually gets to
teammates.
heal. Jeff gets to do it and heal teammates. So it's kind of the opposite of Venom's ability, which is pretty cool.
Just one step closer to the most requested Jeff skin, which is symbiote Jeff.
I
Have
know.
you seen the fan art and stuff? Like it would look
I've
so
seen
cool.
plenty of fan art for Symbiote Jeff.
Well,
Yeah.
and with the pretty much confirmed, oh, this is going to be breaking news for you too, I bet.
Yeah,
With
it
the pretty
probably is.
much confirmed villain for season 3, it's Null. Um,
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Cool.
it we're
Yeah.
probably going to have a symbiote themed like skin set and stuff, and I
Yeah.
think this is the season for symbiote Jeff.
That's interesting because I've heard some leaks about who the heroes are going to be for season 3
Yeah, me
that,
too.
that are not related to that at all. So like
No.
I'm not sure who's wrong or if they're just not having the heroes be related to the villain at all, but
Yeah.
you would think we would get like Carnage or like any number of the tons of different symbiotes if we're getting a null season, but maybe
Yeah.
not. Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Anyway, next one.
Yeah.
um, yeah,
So
go for
next
it.
one is the team up between Hawkeye and Luna. I'm sorry. Yeah. Hawkeye and Luna, the chilling assault. So as the team up anchor, Luna gets a 15% increase in healing effects, and Hawkeye gets one of the most broken abilities in the game, which is the freaking ice arrow. This is one of the scariest new features of season 2.5. Hawkeye
Yeah,
just keeps
seriously.
getting better and better and better every single update, post his very minor nerf in season 1. This thing pierces through, from what I've seen from gameplay, pierces through infinite walls. You can just fire it through anything and pierces through all enemies as well. And uh it's nuts.
Yeah,
um
and then it freezes people like Luna's
yeah.
freeze if they're far enough away. Yeah,
Yeah. So it cancel. Yeah, so you can cancel ults with it too. One of the gameplay pieces I saw was someone firing it like from spawn, not from spawn, but like from very far away, and hitting a spider. I don't know how this could have been planned out. It must have just been luck. But he hits a Spider-Man as he pops his ult and freezes him. And it's just like, holy crap. This is gonna be absolutely nuts.
yeah. We're gonna talk a lot about some meta stuff that might be brewing this season, and I gotta say, there's parts of it I'm really excited about, and there's other parts that make me really nervous. And
Yeah.
Hawkeye is definitely one of those parts.
Yep.
Uh, as always, I don't like him. I don't want him around. I don't want anyone to play him. Stop buffing him every chance you get. Stop,
Yep.
please. Save
Yep.
me.
Yep.
Anyway, going back to Jeff. Jeff's getting 2 team ups in this patch, and this one
Wow,
they
that's
called
right.
out specifically
Yeah.
saying, due to popular demand, don't worry, we've been listening. And I
Right.
just want to
Right.
say, I know for a fact that it is not because of us, but I am so glad that Jeff NATO is happening. I
Yep. Same.
yeah, I've been campaigning for this ever since the firestorm
Yep.
tornado, and it's
Yep. Yep.
here
Yep.
so soon. So literally called Jeff NATO as it needed to be. Storm and Jeff are going to team up. Um, Jeff is the anchor here. Well, actually, I'm not even sure there is an anchor here. Have we seen that? Because it's just showing them both getting abilities from the other one.
Yeah. Interesting. Because is there an anchor between Storm and Human Torch?
Yeah, Storm gets a little bit of a damage buff.
Huh.
So maybe. Oh no, here it does say in the video, Storm is the team up anchor for this with Jeff. Um,
Does she get another anchor buff, or they're just counting her anchor
I'm
between
not.
human?
Yeah,
This is
maybe maybe
this is the first time that there's been an anchor of 2 separate team ups.
right, and
I
they're
didn't even
very
think about
similar.
that.
The
Yeah.
the other thing that I've been seeing online is a lot of people wondering like, what happens if you have a Human Torch and a Jeff? Does she just get to choose which tornado she wants, or can you get a flaming
Flaming
Jeff
Jeff
tornado?
NATO. Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but in all seriousness, this looks pretty gross. So basically, basically, Storm's tornado gets big and has water and a flying Jeff around it as they team up. It's very similar to the Human Torch Storm one.
Yeah.
Um, but then at the end of the Storm ult, Jeff then swallows the team and spits them out. So it looks like you don't get to like hold them. It's just a like swallow up and spit
Yeah.
immediately. But it means that you've got a big Storm ult tornado that if it does not kill people, you can then like launch the entire team that's inside of this
Right.
quite far. Like
Right.
she launches them a good like 20 meters.
Right. Right.
Um,
Right.
you do this and you just start moving this tornado towards an edge. Like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
I, so this looks gross.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see this.
Yeah,
Hopefully, with the Jeff changes, no matter what you think of them, we'll see some people very curious
experimenting
about
with Jeff. Yeah,
Jeff. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Storm is Storm. Storm is nasty. So I
yeah.
hope we get to see this quite a bit.
Yeah, here's my thoughts on this. I think we will see this more than we saw the Human Torch Storm one, because Human Torch was in a real weak spot
Yeah,
when it came out, when he came out and everything. And so um, Storm is still one of those characters that's like got such a high win rate, but people don't play her that much. I
right.
feel like the play rate's always a lot lower than it should be.
Hmm.
But I think a lot of people are going to be either experimenting with Jeff or like if the changes end up being better than people think, playing a bunch of Jeff.
Yeah,
So I think we might see this more, especially because with Ultron being a flying strategist,
yeah,
I think we're going to see flying comps be pushed a lot more. I
for
think
sure.
with some other team ups that we're about to talk about, they're kind of pushing people into the skies even more. So I think we might see this one quite a bit, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't put money on it, but I think we'll at least see it a bunch in the first couple weeks as people want their Jeff Tornado to happen.
Yeah. I also think that this is just like, I don't know. It's hard to say, because on the supernova side of things, it would delete people super quickly. It seems like maybe this one doesn't do as much damage initially, and I could see people saying like, why would I want to like why would I choose Jeff instead of just like deleting people with supernova? However, I like that Jeff, like the Human Torch, retained none of his actual ult
Hmm.
in that team up, whereas Jeff still gets to eat people and
Yeah,
spit him out, which I think is cool. I like I think it's a better functional
combination.
combination of the
Yeah.
two. Yeah, yeah. I think
Well,
that's
and the
fun.
other thing to think of is the team comp difference between if you go Human Torch and Storm to get that combo, you
Hmm.
are like heavily committing into this is a flying team. Both of our DPS are up in the sky, which is
Both
going to
lol,
make
as if 5 weren't insta locked.
well, sure. But when you have a full flying comp, that means you
Yeah,
have like a smaller team on the ground that is a lot
yeah,
more vulnerable. Like strategists are a lot more vulnerable, which is why I think Ultron flying around, you have one less strategist on the ground that's likely to die. But when you have a team up that is a duelist and a strategist, that's still leaving your team comp a little bit more like fluid. And
yeah.
Jeff's not flying around normally,
Right.
so you've still got 5 people on the ground with one flyer. So like, I think team comp wise, it leaves open a lot more options than the Human Torch one does.
Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't
I,
lock you in as much.
right. No, I'm excited to see it. Well, let's lock into the next team up, which is Operation Microchip between the Punisher and Black Widow. Um, I, I've you all know I've done basically nothing but dunk upon
We all have.
upon our girl Black Widow. This team up is freaking nasty. So the Punisher is getting a buff by being an anchor here. He's getting uh, a 25 unit health bonus and a 5% increase in damage output, which is again nothing to bat an eye at when you think about like how much he's sending down range,
Yeah.
and with the meta that they're creating that is favoring sustains and pokes and things like that. But Widow gets a super cool new pulse rifle ability, so she can activate it, and while she's scoped in, it has her sniper has a piercing effect. So you've got Hawkeye piercing walls, you've got Black Widow piercing enemy teams. Man, there's
You got
the
Ultron piercing things too,
yeah,
right?
you
At
with
times.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
his ult does at least.
And his Iron Man team up does too.
Hmm.
But yeah, death balls are kind of screwed. There's a lot here that I think is just going to absolutely melt teams that are tightly clumped together. And I mean, happy to see Widow get some love with this kind of team up. I think her and Hawkeye's team up was really great, but her and Hawkeye being played together is like
Not really great. Yeah.
not really great. Yeah, it's like oof for my Overwatch people when the two DPSs insta-lock Widow and Hanzo, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, we're playing that kind of game today.
Right. But a Punisher Black Widow duelist line, I mean, it covers a lot more of each other's weaknesses. Like, Punisher's going to be dealing out consistent damage that you're missing when you have a sniper, and she can kind of confirm the ones that he gets low. So, I mean, that might
Yeah.
work a lot better than having Hawkeye Widow together. Also, the 25 bonus health, or the 25 extra health for the Punisher, that sounds like a really tiny random amount of health and like not a huge deal, but that puts him at 300 health.
Mhm.
So now you get the Punisher as a 300 health hero that's like up at like Wolverine level.
Yeah,
He's going to be really hard to get rid of.
right.
Yeah,
And they buffed him outside of this too. So like there's a
right.
lot there's a lot going into
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of the Punisher, I think.
I think so. And maybe I'll play it for the first time because outside of like the custom game modes and stuff, I still have never actually picked him like in a match. So
Yeah, yeah. I will say, with all the piercing damage going around, I'm not sure if I should be really happy for Moon Knight or say rip to him. Like, because there's going to be so much anti-death ball, like you said,
yeah.
that like either he's going to be the icing on top and just get to clean up all of the stuff that's been pierced with the batarangs or whatever.
Batarangs.
Moonarangs, I don't know.
Moonarangs. Come on, Royal.
Or he's just going to be like unnecessary and overkill, and death balls won't be happening because people are avoiding all this piercing damage, and then he like loses his role in the first place. I'm not sure which way it's going to go for Moon Knight.
Yeah. Yeah,
We'll see.
Moon Knight's just one of those interesting heroes that I mean, yeah, anyway.
He's really good against death balls and not really a lot of other things because
Right,
of that.
right.
So yeah. Anyway, next team up we got. This is the one that I am most and least excited for at the same time, depending on whose team it is on. I think this is going to warp the meta like crazy.
Yeah, this is nuts.
Rocket Network, which is Rocket Raccoon and Penny Parker. So Rocket is no longer giving the Punisher ammo. He is now working with Penny, and so as the team up anchor, Rocket gains a 5% increase in healing effects, which might have been what he had on the previous team up with the Punisher. So I'm not sure if that's different. But then when the team up is active, Rocket also gets a new thing. So Rocket's BRB is upgraded to a web beacon.
Oh baby.
Now, this is the team up out of all of those where you really have to watch the videos that they like added to it because it's not entirely clear what's going on just from the description. So Rocket gets a beacon that spawns cyberweb around, just like Penny's nest, right? It's not a huge area. It's like maybe 10 meters like from one end to the other. But that's more cyberweb on the ground in a game where you already have Penny, and it's spawning mines just like Penny's nest. So it's like a little mini Penny nest now. But he can't have the regular one out that spawns the armor at the same time. So I'm not sure if that means that the armor one is just not available, period, or if you just have to pick which one you want when you throw your BRB out.
No, it just clicked. It just clicked. Sorry if as I was watching this video you said it, but so Penny's team up web nest spawns the armor now.
Yes.
And his spawns mines, which hers never did. Hers only spawned spiders. So his BRB, instead of spawning armor, that's given to Penny, and now there's just the added effect of him shooting out both spiders and Penny mines. Yeah,
I'm seeing that. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so the armor moves to Penny, and Penny gets a second nest. That's what's insane, is Penny gets a second nest.
Yeah.
It's smaller. It's got a smaller radius. I imagine it probably has less health, but it's shooting out Rocket's armor packs instead of his BRB, and is a second nest that you can place on the other choke point to the point, and now you can control both side hallways at the same time.
Right.
Um,
Well,
and
and
then Rocket's BRB hiding in some other corner of the map somewhere nearby the point also is putting giant mines down to
yeah.
protect itself. My goodness.
Well, and think about this too. Rocket's armor packs are so good, but you only get them like he can only
For the
replace
game.
them
Yeah,
well, yeah, and then every 50 seconds, you know.
right. But you
Penny,
only really get them before the game because no one's walking over to the BRB
yeah,
mid-game, yeah.
exactly. But like Penny's armor spider cluster, like we don't know what the cooldown is yet, but certainly not going to be 50 seconds.
Right.
So more armor for the team on top of that too. I hope it spawns the boosted armor packs as well.
Yeah, and it's going to be closer to the fight because it's on the
Mhm.
nest that has to be close to the fight, right? So,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
this is a huge buff for both of them. Just
Right.
when the other one's being played, I think we're going to see Penny Rocket all the time.
Oh yeah.
And if
I hope
Penny and
so.
Rocket together with this insane team up are pretty meta, like you got to think about what happens with the rest of the meta from there. Like
Yep.
you've got people either get pushed into flying comps, which they have Ultron that they're releasing as the first flying strategist. I think they're trying to push people into flying comps so that
Yeah.
Ultron gets played a bunch in his season. Um, but people are going to either get pushed into flying comps or they're going to get pushed into poke comps, trying to take out the nest from far enough away to
Yeah.
not have to go in there. And so, like, rip Magic, rip Black Panther, rip
Yeah.
Spider Man, all of the dive that last season was just demolishing everything. You're just not going to see unless you get the game where Penny and Rocket aren't there,
Yeah.
or you've got a team that's just so coordinated. They're like, we're going to wipe out the nest for Magic and Black Panther, and then they're going to go in.
Yeah.
This is just, I don't know. I think it's super meta warping, and I think it'll be really fun when it's yours.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
sure it'll be fun when it's not yours.
The scary thing is imagine the double team up nastiness that we are honestly very likely looking at when you think about Rocket and Penny with Luna and Hawkeye.
Yeah,
Like both of because Luna's getting buffed too,
right.
independently of this. Like those two are by far, in my opinion, the scariest team ups in the game now.
Yeah.
And it's like meta to have them both
Well,
at the same time.
and
Like,
if you think about it, if you've got this Penny Rocket giant web of disgustingness covering the entire point and everything around it, you now have perfect cover to play Hawkeye, to play Black Widow, to play all
yeah.
these snipers, because the team is going to be at a distance and probably up in the sky where the sniper characters now are even more useful. Yeah, this is, I mean, we might see like I could easily see a Rocket, Punisher, Black Widow, Penny team up if Black Widow's good enough.
Yeah.
Like have that as a core of your team, and then you throw another tank and strategist in there. Like there's so many things that kind of spin out from this
Yeah.
and all these
Super
team ups.
nasty.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I hope that this isn't like an overestimation. I would love to see team ups define the meta more. Like
Me
again,
too.
we've said it every single time we talk about team ups. It's one of the things that only Marvel Rivals does. So all the more reason to lean into that aspect as a fundamental like steering mechanic of your game. So
Yeah.
um
One last thing about this. I showed you this video right
oh
before we
my
recorded.
gosh.
There might be a problem here. I don't think it's very realistic that this will
Yeah.
happen because you have to have all three, two nests and a rocket BRB, which is an expensive item, sitting pretty close together to make this happen. But if you layer all three of those webs on top of each other, and then Penny shoots three webs at her feet, and she's got six webs healing her, um, she just tanks anything and everything and never
Yeah.
gets past the bonus health phase. So Penny does not heal her real health at an accelerated rate, but the bonus health accelerate heal stacks. And
Yeah.
so if you have all of these things, you have six things healing the bonus health. And so you never get below the 150 bonus health. There's just a video I'll put in the notes. There's a video of just like everything in the game shooting this penny sitting in all these things, and she just never drops below 750 health.
Right.
It's gross. So I don't think it's very likely to happen, and it obviously has a very easy counter. Shoot the dang nest that's sitting there right
Yeah,
next to
right,
her.
right.
But I mean, that's still a couple seconds of an invincible penny. That could make a huge difference.
Well, and the one potentially realistic situation I can see is on defense on an objective, park her next to a wall,
Yeah,
drop all of those things so that no one can target it from like the main angle, and she
yeah.
can peek out, and just have the enemy team be like, all right, report this person for hacks. Like, we
We keep
can't
shooting her,
do.
nothing's happening.
I know,
Yeah,
yeah. That would be, we gotta like try that at least just to see what happens. Oh man. Well, anyway, last but not least, as far as the new team ups are concerned, we have Stark Protocol, which is the team up between Tony Stark and his recalcitrant creation, Ultron. So as the team up anchor, Iron Man gains a 5% boost in damage output, and Ultron gains a new nano ray ability from his team up with Iron Man. So this ability is the best comparison that I saw someone say is he gets a mini Moira ult from Overwatch. So he shoots a beam that does it pierces targets, both friendly and enemy. It does healing to friendlies, damage to enemies, and it's really good. It looks really cool. Looks really good. Yeah, I'm obviously Ultron is still an unknown factor in reality. So, but hey, with the flying meta being encouraged, hopefully we see plenty of this. Like, I mean, Iron Man's really strong. He's always been good. I hope we do get to see some cool Iron Man Ultron stuff going on.
Yeah, and Iron Man, we'll talk about it next week. Iron Man, I believe, is getting some buffs again. He's also getting a couple adjustments down.
Yeah,
But that's kind of to cancel out this 5% boost from the team up. Because he's getting removed from the Gamma Bros and put into this team up.
And
so
his
they're giving
armor
him
overdrive bonus is going down too.
Yeah, that makes sense. I thought there was a buff for him too in there that I'd heard someone talking about, but maybe that's not the case. But he's not going to be adjusted too much. As far as I remember. So
yeah.
Iron Man's going to be good. Ultron, we'll talk about in the next topic. But let's keep going through the dev vision because there's so much here.
I know. Well, real quick, since we're talking about team ups, we should finish that out just with the removed. The removed team up. So I'll, if you're cool, I'll just run through it real quick. So Allied Agents, Hawkeye and Black Widow's team up. That's over, gone completely. Ammo Overload, Rocket and the Punisher, gone completely. Chilling Charisma, Luna and Jeff, gone completely. Bummer. I really love that one as Jeff, but that's okay. Gamma Charge with Hulk, Iron Man, and Namor. So Iron Man, as Nick had just said, is removed from that, but Hulk and Namor still have the Gamma Bros team up. And then the symbiote bond is gone. So the Venom, Penny Parker, Spider-Man team up is no more. No more parrying to be had.
Yeah, Spider-Man loses out quite a bit in this patch. Not only is Penny going to be destroying everyone's day, but he doesn't have the Venom immunity ult thing team up anymore. So his only team up is giving Squirrel Girl another cool CC ability, which you don't see that too often between the two of them.
Yeah. Well, Ultron, which yes, we'll talk about him in just a second. New map. Araco. Krakoa's sister planet thing,
island thing. But I believe it's on Mars. It's a sister island of Krakoa, but I believe it's on Mars.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, yeah. Cool. Really love the Ultron virus vibes. Stark in stark contrast to Krakoa's very natural, like overrun by nature
Yeah.
Like high fantasy vibes. This is like brutalistic, almost like H.R. Geiger-esque, like veins of synthetic uh, pumps and things like that. I'm down for it.
There's a
Also,
giant servitor in the middle of it.
yeah. Yes, thank you for the Destiny references.
This looks
Um,
like a Destiny dungeon map
yeah,
thing.
yeah. Also, when that servitor pops up in the video, freaking wake up, samurai! We have a city to burn. Cyberpunk 2077 bop starts playing. Holy crap! I'm gonna be so hyped up every time I'm in the character select screen.
Dude,
If
every time they
that
use that
music is
song, I love
playing,
it. Yeah. Yeah.
it's it's nasty cool. Yeah,
Yep. It looks like a cool map. It's yeah. To me, it just looks like there's that hallway with all the like weird Ultron bots like hanging out sideways, half
yeah,
of it. It just
yeah.
looks like this like Ultron House of Horrors kind of mechanical haunted house thing. But it seems like from the little bit of the preview stream I got to see where people were playing on this map, it seems like a lot of the rooms and corridors have like pillars going way up into the sky, kind of like Hell's Heaven, but also like horizontal ones blocking line of sight up pretty high, like a
Yeah.
bridge, but like I don't think you can actually get up there unless you're like Penny or something. Um, but it looks like there's like a lot of stuff like that to block line of sight throughout
Mm.
the whole route that you're going up. So it is like blocking line of sight for flyers again, making them even better on this map.
Yeah.
It's kind of making it harder for poker, like sniper characters, because there's all these
Right.
things in the way, which is going to make the flyers even better on the map.
Right.
I'm really interested to see how that goes. Like, it could be that this is like the we play flying here, which
Yeah.
means you play Ultron here, and that it
Yeah.
makes sense.
Right. Right.
But
You know what else is really interesting from what I could tell anyway, unless there's a part of this that, I mean, obviously they didn't show the entire map, but it's all indoors.
yeah,
It's the first payload map that is
that's true.
completely indoors, it
In a
seems,
in a giant building.
which can, I mean, obviously you can design whatever you want, however you want. You can make an outdoor map really small, but it feels more claustrophobic in close quarters in
Yeah,
general.
still
So
very high ceilings though.
yeah,
But
yeah.
But yeah, because of that, because it's all like tight corridors and there's all these like obstacles in the way to stop snipers from having too long of line of sight, it almost feels like the map might also pull people towards like a brawl flank play style.
Yeah,
Except
yeah.
that the meta looks like it's shaping up
I
to be
know.
really anti-brawl. So I have no idea what's gonna go on this map. It looks like it's gonna be chaos and really, yeah, it looks fun. It looks like a lot of fun.
Down.
It looks like there's gonna be a lot to figure out.
Yeah, I'm down for it. Well,
All
cool.
right. Well, let's get to the patch notes because this is taking a while.
Yep.
There's a lot here, but we got patch notes for the 2.5 patch that's going to come on the 30th. And first off, we got a Cerebro Database 2 event, just like the one we had on the first half of
Yeah.
the season. There's 4 sets of challenges, and at the end of it,
Oh my
we get
gosh.
a cyborg Hawkeye skin called Binary Arrow, and
Holy
it
freaking
looks
crap.
really cool. He's like a cyborg bird-looking thing.
A bird.
Yeah, he does have a beak. Look at the way that they designed the cyborg
Oh.
mask. He's
Oh,
got like a very
okay.
avian
Okay.
face. Um,
It's
yeah,
so cool though.
that's definitely the Hawkeye skin I would want to be using anyway.
Yep.
So super
Yep.
cool. There's also that we don't have this in the notes, but I think I don't know if it was a leak or if it was actually announced that the Cyber Talon or whatever they were called, Captain America and Hawkeye skins from like
Yes.
right when the game launched are coming back for a little
Yeah.
while.
hmm
Um, so
They
that's
that
cool.
was part of the yeah, they did show that as part of the season 0 battle pass uh
Okay.
coming back, that those
Okay.
skins come back into the store for the limited time that you can buy
Right.
the season 0 battle pass.
Yeah. Which they were limited time in season 0. So
Yeah.
that's cool. That also means that, if you miss a limited time skin, like it sounds
Yeah.
like there's a chance that it might come back.
Right.
So that's pretty cool. Back to the patch notes, we have the hero selection wheel now displays Lord avatars, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, we had mentioned a couple weeks ago of like, what if they put the skin avatars there, kind of like they did with the hero menu, showing your current skin now instead of the default one. But this
Hmm.
is a cool way to do it too, is do Lord avatars instead. I think that's probably better, to be honest.
Yeah.
Um, Definitely make your preferred character stand out if you don't already have our aim trainer for
Yeah.
selecting characters and
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
know where they
I
are
did.
by heart.
I did see someone comment that the next step of this is obviously to bring the custom hero skin portraits to the Lord icons, and I was like,
Yeah,
oh, yeah, 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 I
that
like
is a
that.
lot of work, but that would be cool. Um, Career system now supports showcasing more custom content and stats. That is all they said about that. So there's going to be some sort of more stats on the career page, which is I'm always down for more stats on the career page. Curious what they mean by more custom content, though. I wonder if that means. My hope would be that that means more like hero specific stats. That would be nice. Um, but that's all we have. So we haven't really gotten any more details on what that's going to be. Um, and then the ranked rewards for season 2.5 are going to be new Crest of Honor as per usual, but it's going to be a golden Ultron skin for
Heck
hitting
yeah,
gold 3 in ranked. So
that's gonna be cool.
it looks like that's always going to be, at least for the time being, that's going to be the pattern. Is whoever the new hero is, they're the ranked gold reward skin, which is cool.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, that makes sense.
yeah. I on a personal note, I've been riding the silver roller coaster this whole week. Like I'm so upset. I got
Yeah,
those, we got those free
yeah,
losses, right? That they gave out in the thing last week in the Galactus gift last
yeah.
week. Dude, every time I got those, I lost 10 games in a row.
Yep,
Literally, like I would be fine. I'd be fine. I'd be winning, losing, winning, losing, and then I would get the reward. I'd be like, sweet, I have 6 free losses. I'm gonna climb, lose 10 games in a row, and go even further down.
yep.
So
I'm telling you, man, literally, this is no exaggeration. My number one biggest concern for the continued well-being of Marvel Rivals is how in the world are they going to balance the way they're doing ranked with 2-month seasons?
yeah,
I don't know how they're going to. It's just going to be such a rat race hellscape of a
yeah,
grind unless something very seriously changes with the ranked thing. And yeah, yeah,
yeah. No, I agree. It has not been fun, but like I
yeah.
really want to get that skin,
Right. No, me
and
too.
yeah. So I'm in for a not very fun rest of the week.
Yeah.
Uh,
As a Jester Harlequin as the Emma Frost purple and gold kind of skin is, it's still I still want it. And I really want the
yeah,
Ultron one.
I want it, but then there's already an Emma Frost skin that we'll talk about in a little bit that's just going to replace it for me anyway. So,
Yeah,
but I
yeah,
still
yeah.
want to get it.
Yeah,
But
yeah, right,
I've got
right.
all of them so far, other than I didn't play ranked in season 0,
Right.
so I didn't get whatever that one was. But um, yeah,
Well,
anyway,
anyway, we already mentioned the kind of Jeff new emote things that are coming, the moods and whatnot. The Jeff bundle is the first thing to come into the store that will be going live. The next thing that's coming into the store, though, speaking of cool skins and Hawkeye's kind of Ultron virus related stuff, the combat chest. This is something that I am super, super excited for. So basically, it's the Mac and Cheeks little mini battle pass, but on steroids. So a
yeah,
little bit more money, but holy crap, triple, quadruple, I don't know what multiplier to put on it exactly, but the value. So $7, 690 lattice. But my goodness, the rewards you get from this, you get a legendary Storm skin, legendary Mr. Fantastic skin, and a freaking incredible very Sephiroth coated Magneto skin. Oh my gosh, absolutely incredible. And along with that, there's a bunch of emotes in there, a bunch of sprays, some nameplates. It's 3 pages worth of stuff. So basically,
yeah,
3 battle pass
4
tiers.
pages.
4 pages. Sorry, four
Yeah,
pages worth of stuff. So I mean, this is a no brainer day one buy for me. I'm super excited for it for sure.
yeah. The way that they're doing it is they're doing it based on experience, rather than doing challenges or anything like that. And I think I like that too for this kind of thing. you already have the main battle pass that you're doing challenges for, so just having something ticking up in the background's nice.
Yeah.
They say that there's a daily cap of 7,200 experience, and at least the first level says it takes 1,800. So that if that stays the same, which it better. I don't want any of this
Yeah.
MMO like level scaling nonsense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
if it stays the same for every level, it looks like you can do about 4 levels a day max, and there's 24 total. So you could do this in 6 days if you grind like crazy. I'm not sure how long it's going to take you to get 7,200 experience a day, but it's running from if you don't pay for it, there is a free version just like the battle pass. If you don't pay for it, you have from May 30th when it launches to July 11th to get through it. And it has less rewards that way, of course, but it does still include like the Emma Frost Make It Rain emote and this
Yeah.
incredible Mr. Fantastic Future Foundation skin,
It is so cool.
which I showed you this picture, I put it at the bottom of the notes.
Yeah.
The end of the MVP animation for it teases 3 other skins. So Future Foundation, if you don't know, is a version of the Fantastic Four at one point in the comics, where Johnny Storm dies and Spider-Man ends up joining them instead. And so you've got this awesome screenshot, you can look it up online, of this Mr. Fantastic skin, an Invisible Woman skin that looks pretty clean, a Thing skin, which is the first one we have of him like wearing a shirt, like he's in like pants and a shirt, and it looks really cool.
No, we want less clothes for the Thing,
Yeah,
not
well,
more.
yeah. Where's the thong? Yeah,
Where's the thong?
And then a really cool white Spider-Man costume too.
Yeah, that's clean.
And hey, more white and blue costumes to confuse the enemy team.
Yeah,
so
holy crap! and the Thing is kind of like a tan, beige, brown.
Yeah.
He could be mistaken as blonde. So just adding the white and blue blonde backline.
The other thing I want to point out in the rewards here is right towards the end, there's a free reward for getting a default emote bundle, and then about halfway through, it's a paid one, I believe, to get a Galacta mood bundle. So it looks like there's not going to be like a base just unlocked for everyone mood thing. It looks like you can get through the free combat chest to get the basic ones, or you can get the premium one and get the Galacta ones, or you can buy the Jeff ones in the shop. But it looks like there's those 3 sets are going to be the mood bundles to begin with, or the mood bundles to begin with, and that's going to be how you get them. So yeah.
One final comment about this. So on the first page, so they've kept this consistent for every single battle pass. When you buy the battle pass, you get an instant unlock, which is some sort of really cool skin. In the actual battle passes, it's been like the highest tier of skin. It doesn't show what the first unlock of the battle chest, the combat chest is.
It does show the rare rarity icon above it, so I don't think it's going to be like a legendary skin like battle pass is. Yeah. So I don't think it's going to be something huge, but they could surprise us too. But they're hiding it for some reason, right?
Yeah. That's.
You know what? Actually,
weird.
You know what? Actually, it also on here, if you look on the screenshot, says that it's a rare emoji.
Oh.
So maybe it's an emote pack of some kind that they're going to give everyone for buying the advanced one. I don't know. That's just
very interesting
based on that, but.
Well, you will probably already know by the time you're listening to this part of the episode, because the store will be live.
All right, so rest of the patch notes real quick. Spectator and custom game settings, they added a bunch of those. If you do a bunch of those, you can look it up. PC performance test feature got added, so you can run a performance test in-game to figure out if it's your GPU, your CPU, what is it that's throttling your graphics and your gameplay. That's pretty cool to be able to do it in the actual game. And then for console players, they said that they made the cursor snapping on the hero select screen snappier. So this is a setting that you have to turn on, but I imagine it's kind of like in in Super Smash Brothers, how on the screen when you hover over a character, it slows your cursor down quite a bit.
Right.
So it looks like they just improved that kind of thing, which is very helpful when you're on a menu like that.
all
on a
those
given.
high sense console psychopaths out there,
Yeah.
just like surfing across all the character select screen.
You're gonna have to lower your sensitivity to be good at this game. Uh,
Oh man, good
oh
inside
man.
joke.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, and then bug fixes. So Emma's primary fire. There's a bunch of bug fixes in there, but I'm just gonna highlight two. Emma's primary fire was not getting charge or keeping charge from hitting Groot walls, which is something I actually noticed. Like playing playing against Groot, I was like, this is gonna be great. I'm gonna keep my charge up, and it was the only thing in the game that would not actually give you charge or let you keep it. So Emma has now been massively buffed in matchups against Groot because they
Yeah.
fixed the bug. And
Can I
then
just give a shout out to whoever the writer of these hero bug fixes posts are, because this section, like as mundane as bug fixes are, just on the outset, this section is always one of my favorite sections to go through because of the alliterations and things that they do, like the lore related titles for the bug fixes.
this is
Loki's
why we're
layered lunacy, like vibranium velocity. All of that is just, it's so much fun.
this is why we're different, because that's my least favorite part, because I just feel like they overdo it a bunch. Like I like when they do it a little bit, but these notes for some reason just feel way over the top for me every time.
Because it's not just the start of it, it's everything.
Yeah.
Like they put a spin on, yeah, you are looking for, like, "No, give me the freaking number, what's the
Well,
algorithm?"
no,
And
I like it being themed. What I don't like is when it just feels very forced. And these
oh
ones
yeah,
feel
yeah,
forced to me. Like it just feels a little bit too far. Because you can notice a pattern where it's like, they have the alliteration and then we fixed whatever the actual bug is. And then there's always a sentence at the end that's just tacked on that like tries to spin it as some sort of lore thing. Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
if it was mixed up more, I'm not complaining about the patch notes. The patch notes are fine. It's not my style. Anyway, what is my style is the amazing
Yes.
return of our favorite patch note, which is fix several terrain issues that could cause characters to sometimes become stuck or clip into strange areas. Woo!
I just felt my heart rate decrease hearing
No
that.
matter what people think about the Thor, Jeff changes or Ultron, 5-star patch, they did it.
Wow. That's what a way to close out the patch notes. I'm so happy you said that. And to so we mentioned that we're gonna focus on the balance patch and hero hot list and all that stuff next week. That's gonna be the core focus. But Nick did tease just a little bit of one thing that I would like to bring up before we move on to the main topic of Ultron. Um, Boy, oh boy. So in the balance post, unless you've been living under a media blackout rock for Marvel Rivals, there were some adjustments made to Thor and Jeff. Well, the community did not like them. No, they did not like them one bit. And they were very, very, very vocal about
And
Thor
immature.
and Jeff being absolutely unplayable, even though they've quite literally, because they couldn't play them yet in their
Yeah.
changed state. And
I read a paragraph and I know for a fact that this is going to be an unplayable character now.
yeah,
Stop it.
right, right,
Change it
right.
all.
Well, it was so intense that in true Marvel Rivals dev fashion, they responded pretty much instantaneously, saying, "We've noticed the," and I love the spin, the PR spins that they put on everything.
Yeah.
They say, we
Enthusiastic.
noticed the enthusiastic discussions around Thor and Jeff following the balance update for season 2.5,
Read
and they
temper tantrums.
yeah. And they basically just go to clarify some stuff. They do say that Jeff had like a mistakenly shown non-final version of his change in the initial showcase, which might have. I actually am not even sure what that was. I couldn't even find it.
The Yeah, in the patch notes, it's probably not still there because they probably changed it, huh?
Yeah, I looked for it.
It used to be. I remember vaguely that like his splash didn't pierce allies and enemies,
Oh,
so it was just like whoever you hit first, it would either
oh yeah.
damage the enemy or it would heal the ally.
Yeah, that would be horrible.
Which, yeah, I mean, it takes it completely out of your control what you're doing. Like, you can't even know if you're going to be doing damage or healing.
Right,
So
right.
that was something that would be like, if that was where it was, that would be really bad.
Yeah,
But it
yeah.
now is a moral where it's,
Right.
doing
Yep.
both, which is
Both all
cool.
at the same time, which is really
Yeah.
cool. But nay, the community still did not think it was really cool. And they thought it was so uncool that they started a freaking petition on change.org to revert Jeff back to his pre-season 2.5 state. At the time I posted this, I think this was 2 days ago, it had 2,300 signatures and counting. I like that there's a bullet point from this this post. It says it's unclear if Marvel Rivals will revert the Jeff changes or not. No, they will not revert the Jeff changes before the changes are even live. That's
Because
not happening.
you all have no idea what you're talking about. Like,
Yeah, I so not to like just be positive. Like, I do understand. Like, I personally, Jeff specifically, I had Jeff in my S tier on the fun list because I think Jeff's playstyle is super, super unique. I love the kind of like skirmish DPS heal playstyle that he has. And this is at least it appears to try and refocus some of that. It tries to make him more, it tries to make his left click more viable, just overall, which is, I think, was always intended to be his primary like function.
right.
However,
But it really hasn't been. Yeah.
right. It really hasn't been. However, like, when you see what kind of damage this is capable of putting out, like, I'm not convinced that play style is going to go away. Like, it does. If it did, I would be sad because that would bump him out of like the S tier fun ranking for me. I love that like flanker skirmisher play style, but now you can still play that. He gets his charges back for his right click every second. So you're still going to be able to do a lot of damage with that and get the knock up. And now you can still be a backline skirmisher and do damage and heal your team from the backline by shooting from the back to damage enemies and heal your team. So I just, like, I understand the fear that the community has of them changing the uniqueness of his playstyle. I'm just not fully convinced that that's actually happening yet. So
yeah, there's this danger is always there anytime there's a character rework. Like, people will call for a character rework if they feel like the character's not doing well, or, or it's not fun or whatever. There's a problem though that's just kind of inevitable, that someone, and in this case, anyone who's really playing Jeff all the time, is doing so because they really love the playstyle that people have found with the current kit. So then when you do a character rework, which this is really the first one we've seen that's like a full character rework, right?
Which
and
is
Jeff
crazy
is sitting.
that it's on a 0.5 update too. Like,
yeah, it is. Yeah, but I mean, Jeff is sitting at a low 40% win rate, and he has been for a really long time. So
he is the second lowest win rate of all characters in the game.
Right.
In competitive.
And so if they were ever going to do a character rework, they're going to do it on the ones that are struggling that much.
Yeah.
Of course, with Jeff, there's such a high skill ceiling with the skirmisher version of playing him that there are also people who are really dedicated and really good Jeff players who have a way higher than 50% win rate in games that they play Jeff. So there's no real good way to do a character rework on a character that really needs it for the vast majority of players without making the like diehard players like lose out on, like miss what they had before.
Yeah.
My hope is that what you mentioned about being able to do flank Jeff, but now adding in the left click, doing a bunch of damage to multiple characters and possibly healing your team at the same time, like, hopefully we'll find that actually is just as fun or like more viable or better.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, if it also makes Jeff less of a throw pick for people who aren't doing that one specific play style, that's good for the game as a whole too, because now there's one less character that people are angry at you for picking. It gets more people playing Jeff, all these kind of things. So I think my like reactions to this as we've been talking about it being very like dismissive has mostly been at the fact that like we are now at the point where a community for a game will put a change.org petition out for something in a video game that they haven't even seen yet. Like,
Yeah.
just stop. Like that
Yeah.
that part makes me so frustrated because it's like there's so much that goes on behind the scenes into making one of these changes. It's not like they just did it in 5 seconds and never tested it and went like, well, this probably just makes Jeff worse, but that's fine. We'll push it out without looking at it. Like
Right.
there's some reason why they're doing this. And
Yeah.
we've seen from Wolverine, we've seen from Storm,
Yep.
we've seen from a lot of characters
Yep.
that sometimes it takes people a really long, and Jeff included, it takes people a really long time to figure out, oh, wait, this is how this character is supposed to be played. And it is good. It's just not what I was expecting it to be. So
Right.
I 100% understand the disappointment if you really like how Jeff currently plays, like being disappointed that he's going to change. But if people are just saying, I've seen a lot of people just saying that like, oh, Jeff is going to be worse. And like, you don't know that yet. Like, just give it a week before
Right.
you start making, yeah.
Right.
Change.org
and
petitions over a video game.
and again, just to hammer that home, the way Jeff plays right now is landing him at a 43.2% win rate.
Right.
Which is only 1% above Black freaking Widow, the meme herself. So let's all, even people who think that Jeff's playstyle is S tier levels of fun, let's give it a chance and not freaking burn the witch.
Right. And the Thor
the smell
changes
is gas.
are this article was talking about Jeff, but people are upset about the Thor changes too.
Yeah.
The Thor changes again fall into this thing of it's really kind of a rework on him. I was talking to someone on our Discord this week. It was actually a really cool discussion. They're a Thor player. They're the one that told me like to rethink the ult. And they had a lot of cool stuff. They showed some videos of how things work, and they had a lot of cool thoughts on the Thor changes. And what they kind of pointed out is that there's two ways to play Thor right now. There's a Awakening Thor where you're trying to get his Awakening Rune F ability up as much as you can, and you're playing a long range Thor. And then there's the like you dive on the strategists and just like destroy the backline Thor. And so he was saying like this is a big nerf to the backline Thor because you can't use the runes, or you can't use the Thor Force on the hammer throw anymore, and the hammer throw does less, and that's how you chase down strategists and finish them off. But it's a really big buff for people playing Awakening Thor, and so it makes sense that like again this is a rework that people who are playing that divey Thor like are going to be upset about, and that's just kind of how it goes. But like I'm someone who when I play Thor I try to play Awakening Thor, and so I'm like over the moon about the Thor change because it looks so fluid now. But it's just going to be something we have to figure out over time, and we'll see if it's good for the character or less good for the character. And Rivals is pretty attentive. They've already commented on this once before it's even come out. Like we could easily see some changes and reverts if it doesn't work and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, we know how attentive they are to community feedback. So I have, even if they both absolutely sucked, I'm really not worried about it. There's no change that they've made that has been bad that they haven't corrected freaking immediately, like literally same week. So worst case scenario, they both suck and they get reverted, not because of the change.org petition, but because the devs are responsive and competent.
PC Gamer's going to write an article with the 80-word title that says it's because of the change.org petition. No, I think that's the thing that I like about covering Rivals the most is that like I can't always, there's never going to be a game where I can always defend everything that the devs do or everything that the company that puts the game out does. They're going to make mistakes and there's stuff like that. But like what I really like about Rivals is that I still have like very reasonable trust in the fact that like if they make a mistake, they're going to try to fix it pretty quick.
Yeah, I mentioned in like the second or third episode that like Rivals has cultivated a very healthy like emotional bond with like not betraying my trust, like respecting my like wallet and my time. except for this freaking event. Which,
Right. Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah,
give
and
and take.
the fact that they usually fix these kinds of things really quick is what makes me feel okay, like trying to defend them when people are upset about it. You know what I mean? Like, um, and still at the same time, like being willing to be like, yeah, I think that that event sucked, but yeah, like it anyway. I just like this game. All
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
moving on.
Speaking of timely, holy crap, longest news segment ever. We still have two more
This
brief
is
things
the
to
news
get through.
episode.
Yeah. A couple new skins dropping when this episode does. We got Groot and his balls and Ultra. we got blue, and they put the blue one right. Anyway, we got Groot, and we have Extron Ultron skins dropping. The Extron Ultron skin is the one that you've seen in every yay or oh no victory or loss animation from the Krakoa maps. It's cool, golden Ultron with the cape.
You know,
Uh,
one of those balls on Groot is our entire existence and universe, right?
Oh, is
This
is it
is him
Midgard?
as
The
this is
Midgard
him
ring? Yeah, yeah.
as
He's
Yggdrasil. Yeah,
Yggdrasil. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I know. Those are all the.
Those are all the realms.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Those aren't
So,
real. A couple of those are real Futhark runes, but they're cool. Yeah,
wow,
I like.
nerd.
Nah. um, I these two skins in particular don't tempt me, but I think they're really cool.
I think the Groot one's super cool. It also is really cool on the Araco map because
Hmm.
the payload on the Araco map is Araco, like as a tree walking towards Ultron at the end to try to take the island back.
Oh
Um,
gosh, I didn't notice that.
yeah, and
How
so
cool.
like you can be escorting a tree as a tree, also as the world tree. I don't
Yeah,
know. This is cool. Yeah, get Squirrel Girl in there. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Nuts and balls.
the
Um,
the forests are moving. Yeah. Anyway,
yes. And then
all right.
we have Emma Frost's Twitch drop skin, which is super freaking cool. This will be the skin that I'm maining with her. Absolutely. Get
Yeah,
rid
this
of
is the one
my
I was
white and
talking about
blue.
earlier.
Yeah. Also, a galaxy spin emote. Did you see this anywhere?
I haven't seen it. No,
Yeah, that sounds cool though, and I really
it
like
does sound cool.
the profile silhouette that it shows.
I'm
So
imagining probably like the Hella one,
yeah, something
right?
like that. But so yeah, between May 30th and the 27th of June, watch 4 hours to unlock all that stuff, and
Yeah,
yeah.
and it's the like all the other Twitch drops. It's the Will of Galactus skin.
Hmm.
So it's that same color scheme, the blue and purple, and it looks really cool on her. They did it well.
Yeah, she's the first new character to get a Will of Galactus skin, huh? It's all
Yeah, I think
been
so.
yeah, how interesting. Well,
Yep.
appropriate that it's Emma Frost.
Yep. All right. Well, we made it through the news. So you wanted to go to podcast patch notes?
Yep. Now that we've talked about the patch notes, let's talk about the patch notes. 2 minutes on the clock, and here we go. So last week, we did a hero spotlight for Penny Parker, and we talked a lot about a lot of different things, but there are a couple things that we hinted at, but didn't give numbers to. And I did a little testing in the practice range to get some numbers for y'all. I'm sure I could have just
Oh,
looked this up, but it's more fun to do the research yourself, do the myth busting. And I found out something very interesting that I haven't heard anybody talk about. But so as far as her web anchor goes on her F ability, so she has an icon in the middle of her screen that tells you how far away from the web anchor you are. And we did mention in last week's episode that once she gets to 15, it pulls her back. Well, that's a good way for you to measure how far away you are so that you can implement the strategy that I think Nick had mentioned last week of like potentially hanging out at the end of that range and then getting pulled back to avoid getting ganked.
yeah.
But a couple extra features of that too. So not only can you see the number, but you actually have a buffer. It isn't just 15. It stretches all the way to 19 is the maximum distance it can go. And as long as you're moving in any direction in that window from 15 to 19, it won't pull you back. So it's not like once you get, this was like my concern, is that once you get to 15, it just like whips you back, but you actually have control there to decide when you get pulled or not. So very cool. The second thing is Penny can have 15 mines on her own or 22 with her ult, which is interesting. So the ult stacks another 7 that are on a separate buffer from her normal mines, because she can't place more than 15 on her own. And then in my last 5 seconds, screw this freaking event, dude. I got duped again, and now I won't finish it. And I don't actually know anymore what the requirements are to get past Act 2. I think I'm genuinely bugged, but it's refreshed for me. All of the challenges have refreshed for me. I'm on my 4th row of Act 2 challenges now, like that have refreshed every day. So I don't know what's going on. I've completed, I'm over time, but I've completed all of the challenges, and then every day a whole set of new challenges repopulates.
Okay,
and I complete them all.
You got to show me this in game.
Yeah,
I want to see it, because there's like Act 2, Part 1, 2, and 3. And when you finish all the challenges in all 3 of them, you're supposed to go to Act 3.
I hate it so much.
The good news is, if you've been doing that long, you will have enough tokens that if you can get yourself to Act 3 before it ends, then like you can finish Act 3 in 2 minutes. Because you just convert all the tokens into the voting things. You vote 10 times and you're done.
Oh, you can?
Yeah.
You can convert the tokens? Okay, that's good to know.
So you might be able to finish it. Let's look at this after the podcast, because I want to help you.
There's 2 days left technically, but I don't.
And you could totally do it as if we can get you out of Act 2 today. So we'll figure it out
today at 3 in the morning.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, my turn. Do I get an extra like 2 minutes because of how far over you went?
How dare you?
Okay, here we go. So Penny, again, we were talking about Penny last week. So the cyberweb, just like you were talking about, it's got that bungee effect. When you stop moving and you're 15 meters or more away, it'll pull you in the other direction, right? So I'd mentioned last week that you can bungee jump off of things and go up and down on that, and we were like, really? Or will it snap? And we talked about that for a little bit. Okay, I did this in a game, and it was incredible. So we were in it was in the new map. It was in Krakoa. It was in that like big cave one. And we held the point. We had it. I had a nest set up and everything. And then what I did is there's like that big wall on one side of that thing, and I cyberwebbed up to the top of it, and it would bounce me up, and I would shoot a whole bunch at the hallway way down where people were coming through, and throw the webs out and throw mines all the way over there, bounce down, like pull out to the side a little bit, shoot, and then let go, and it would bounce me back up. And I was just bouncing up and down, shooting people from super far away, and they had like a flyer and a Spider-Man. It was so good for getting rid of them, because I could get up to them and then right click them so easily. So like, don't sleep on the bungee Penny. Like that is a very legitimate strategy. And it's gross. Speaking of gross, I played a bunch of Thor this week, like I mentioned in the intro. His ult is actually really nasty. There's just, you have to know how to use it. So I'm going to read something from the Discord. I was talking to Illusionetic on the Discord, and he said, I think you guys are really sleeping on the Thor ultimate. If you charge into their supports, cast your lightning realm on them. This slows them first so that they can't get out as fast, right? And then damages them if they run out of it. Pop the ultimate after, and you will usually kill at least one of them, both if they don't spread out properly. And then he posted a clip where you can actually see it. So the lightning realm, I think, is that his E that charges his thing? So I guess if you do that actually slows people, which I didn't even realize that slows people.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty cool. Thor, it's pretty good for confirming, and it's pretty good for like when people group up, and there's a lot of uses out of it. So I will report back with Thor stuff next week, because I guarantee you I'm going to be playing a lot more Thor.
And there's your extra minute.
There's my extra minute. All right. That was
3
podcast
minutes on the
patch
clock.
notes. That was podcast patch notes. Let's get to our main topic. All right, so for our main topic, we're talking Ultron this week. We got the Ultron reveal video.
Yeah, boy.
We've got a lot of talk about is he good, is he not? People talking about their experience on the preview streams. There's a bunch to talk about here, but not a ton to talk about abilities wise because he's got a fairly simple kit. There's not like a lot of text or extra abilities to explain. But yeah, Ultron. Josiah, what's your initial reaction? How are you feeling about Ultron? Because you were super excited about him.
Yeah. So there's a duality here, but my first thought is flying Zenyatta with AoE Harmony Orb and Titanfall Beam Rifle as a weapon. Like, heck yeah. That is very cool and very nasty and plays into all the things that I liked about Zenyatta and fixes one of the things that I hated about Zenyatta, which was his primary attack that I was just no good with. So I'm excited about what he is capable of. However, on the flip side of things, the feedback has been pretty overwhelmingly negative about just like the efficiency of the kit that he has, like not about any one thing being like, oh man, his kit is trash. It's just like numbers are trash, at least based on some of the initial, preview build feedback, which, not to make an excuse, but like, thankfully that is a lever that's really easy to pull. And it's a lever that weirdly has already been pulled though, which is just one last thing about, so he had 275 health on this announcement trailer, and he has 250 in the preview build, which is really weird. And I think there was one other thing too. I think his shield like shielded for 90 and now it does for 75. So they already did some interesting like nerf stuff, which
means that was a pretty close to release change because it would have had to be after they approved the preview trailer, right? Which could have been a month ago. But like that means they're continuing testing was like, oh, he shouldn't have 275, which kind of, there's a thing that happens a lot of times in Marvel Snap where like if they, you'll get data mine cards that you'll see and then they'll nerf them right before release. Yeah. And that kind of tells you like, oh, they're really good. Like if they felt like this was going to be a problem, like they must be really good. Or you'll see the ones that get buffed before release and you're like, I'm going to skip this card because it already was too weak, So it's kind of weird because Ultron being nerfed at some point between the trailer and them showing it to us, would imply that he was really good, but everyone's thoughts on him are that he's not. So I'm not sure what to think here.
I wonder if there was something really worrying about him being able to get to 350 health with his shield on top of 275, since the shield is 75 now. I don't know.
I can't think of a strategist that gets that high. I mean, he would be a pretty tanky strategist. That could be an issue. But if he's not pumping out a bunch of healing, do you really care?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So all that to say, like for me, I do generally agree with the early feedback, which is that he does seem to be in a weird place. He does seem a little underpowered, but I am still excited about his kit. I can't say that he's approaching Emma Frost levels of like, holy crap, like imagine the possibilities, imagine the potential. Like you said, his kit is pretty trim. But I think what he can potentially offer to the game and his unique hybrid DPS healer strategist kind of thing is very interesting, and I'm excited to see how it plays out.
Yeah, I agree. We can talk a little bit later about where we feel like his place might be. But I agree that like I'm excited for him as a character. Like I think overall like the kit looks like with whatever numbers tweaks they need to make over time, which they're going to make anyway. They buff and nerf people every 2 months, soon to be every month. we're gonna see the numbers like pan out over time. They're not gonna leave him terrible if he releases that way. We've already seen
Right.
that with Human Torch. So I'm not worried about if he releases weak. He seems like he will have a place.
Yeah.
What's interesting is that his place seems a lot more niche than maybe the heroes that we've had up to this
Yeah.
point, which
Hmm.
for Ultron as a character feels weird because he's such
Yeah.
like an
A
icon
big
kind of
deal.
deal.
Right. Right.
Um, but I don't know. I think part of that for me is when we get to his ult doesn't seem that overwhelming. And
Yeah.
like I wanted his ult to be like an army of drones just like goes everywhere.
Yep.
Uh
Yep. Yep. I know. Right.
but
When he yells extermination and then turns into Loki's default auto left click auto fire, you're like, oh,
right.
oh.
Yeah, so I
Okay.
mean with the right numbers tuning maybe that would even be cool, but like, we need to
Yeah.
get to the
Yeah.
abilities
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
explain them before we pontificate about them.
Uh, All right, so we don't have the lore dump that we usually have from Nick's hero spotlights, so we'll just jump right into the abilities. His left click, Encephalo Ray, so he unleashes a burning energy beam. This has this is like the one thing about his kit that everybody's like, oh yeah, this
Oh yeah.
nasty, like this has really high potential. um it has ridiculous range. It does have damage drop off starting at 35 meters. However, it almost doesn't even matter. So at 35 meters, he can two tap any duelist or strategist in the game, which is
However, two tapping is like two beams, like
yeah.
not like it's not boom boom they're
Click,
dead
click.
like a
Yeah, yeah,
hella.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's like a bzz, bzz, and there's a
Right,
big
right.
chunk at the end of
Yeah.
each one.
So it is trickier to aim this. I did mention that I was a basic beam boy in the Emma Frost spotlight. So and I mentioned the Titanfall charge rifle, which I felt pretty good with. So hopefully I feel good with this because it's literally that for the Titanfall players out there. Rip Titanfall 3 canceled. However, I was watching some Shroud gameplay. Shroud, who is very good pro gamer, and even he was like, it can be kind of hard to land because, like Nick said, you do have to stay on target, and unleash that final blast to get the full damage out of it. Otherwise, you're not really doing much at all if you're
Right.
only getting that initial tick or you're getting the final kick. Like, you have to get all of it or it's not really
Yeah.
worth it.
Yeah, but it is like it does look very strong.
Yeah.
If you can hit it, which is the case with a lot of these like chunk people's health down really fast characters. It's all about like if you can aim it. Like I
Right.
feel like he in general he feels very Adam Warlock to me.
Yeah.
He's very much more of a utility strategist than like a lifeline or a playmaker,
Yep.
and so this kind of fits that same thing of like it's going to be a higher skill to do damage, but the damage that you can put out if you do that is quite high.
Yeah.
Um, it's made. I mean, this ability has made people talk about him as more of like a storm archetype than really a strategist, kind of like
Yeah.
being the alternative storm that they put in the strategist role instead of the
Hmm.
duelist one, but is really more of a hybrid. Um, and I think thinking about him that way makes him feel a little bit better, because as we're about to talk about, like his healing abilities are a little bit lackluster.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more like Adam's E ability, where it's like it heals a little bit for a time, but it's not like a big burst and it's not like super long and consistent. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah,
And just one quick, I never finished my thought. So I
I'm so
mentioned
sorry.
his no. It was my fault. I sidetracked myself. His damage drop off starts at 35 meters. However, it's very minimal. So even at like, I mean, as far away as you can possibly fly, you can three tap
Oh,
people, like any strategist or duelist. You can still three tap people basically from as far away as a sightline can be.
but good luck
So
holding that beam
yeah,
on someone
right,
at 100 meters away. Yeah.
exactly. Um, but still, that's really good chunk damage if you can see a frozen target or a CC target or anything like that, that you can pull off. So yeah, interesting that a strategist's most like significant ability is his damage his left click, but hey, I mean, interesting. That'll make him interesting to play.
At least his most flashy. It's the one that
Yeah,
everyone's noticed right away. We
yeah,
might
yeah, yeah.
find that other ones are better than we think, but
Sure, sure. But moving on to his right click, so imperative firewall. So he summons drones to grant bonus health to allies within range. That's 75, as I've mentioned. Centered on himself and the ally marked by imperative patch. So it's a twofer. So he sends out shields from him, and people who he has his drone healing ability on, they get a ring of shields blasted out from them as well. Yeah. So 75, like, cool. I like the idea of having these kinds of shield bursts, and I really like the idea of it not just being from him. This is the first we've seen of an ability like this in the game, where not only is something activated on you, but it's activated on something else that you've done, which I think is really cool. So this is why, like, 75 doesn't seem like a lot. I'm not really sure. Like, watching the Ultron gameplay, it's mainly uses a panic button to try and like survive one extra shot from Winter Soldier or something like that. And like there are circumstances where this is useful. 75 just doesn't feel like a lot, especially with a 10-second cooldown. You're not.
And it decays really fast, so you only really have 75 for like a second or two, and then it starts decaying.
Right.
So I mean, it really is like a burst 75 over health kind of deal.
So again, numbers tweak. Bump this by 25 and do 100 health over shield. Suddenly it's one of the best abilities in the game. This is what I'm talking about, where like I'm not concerned about Ultron's kit. I'm not concerned about Ultron as a character, because this stuff is really easy to not only fix, but to identify very quickly as well. They don't have to think about, Jeff, like Ultron's not going to need, I don't think, a rework.
Right. So. Yeah. So, again, like we're going to say constantly with Ultron, it seems like it's numbers. Like if you tweak the numbers up, it suddenly looks a lot better. So let me talk about the parts of this that I think are just legitimately really good. And then you can start to see like, okay, if the numbers go up higher, then this gets really good. Yeah. Because you center it on yourself and on the ally that you have your heal drone on. If you put that heal drone, if you're in the back line and you've got another strategist and a sniper or something around you, and then you put the drone on your other duelist or on one of your tanks who's up in the front line, and they're kind of grouped up together, it is quite possible that you're going to hit all 6 of your teammates with 75 health when you do this. So now all of a sudden, like, 75 times 6 is a lot more than 75 times 1 or 2, which a lot of other like shield abilities you might get 150 on. Yeah. A lot of other shield abilities, like you put the Invisible Woman shield out, it's got 250 on one person, right? And if they move, it's gone. Like, but that's a really good ability because it also lasts for a long time and it can soak up the damage and it's a shield, blah 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 blah. There's a lot of reasons why that's a lot better. But my point is, like, being able to hit almost everyone on the team pretty easily is good. So if the numbers go up on this, now you're talking massive amounts of health. Like, like you said, if you added 100, 600 health coming out of nowhere, regardless of if they're already at 100% health or not, because it's just bonus health being given on top. Like, now you're talking Ultron drops this on people right when a Scarlet Witch ults, and the tanks all survive because they have more than 750 health at that moment. Like, there's things that can be done. We're gonna have to find the breakpoints with 75 health to figure out like what it's useful for there. But I think people will find things that it's useful for besides just, I got one more Winter Soldier shot before I died. But even that can change the tide of a battle quite a lot. So it's not useless. It's just maybe not as strong as you would expect, considering it's one of his only 2 ways to support the team.
Yeah, and it does play into his kit and playstyle consistency too, where like the Encephalo Ray, very long range, very high damage. So he wants to be in that back line. Like, he wants to be far away. He's a flyer. He doesn't it doesn't break the philosophy of just because he's more than likely not going to be grouped up with his team doesn't mean that he's not going to benefit his team by using it. Like, he doesn't have to be close to them for them to get the benefit. And I think that's really good.
Right. And they kind of needed to put it on whoever he's patching. as
Yeah.
well, because if it just gave it to people around him,
Yeah.
it would be
It
so
would be very
counterintuitive to his
bad.
play style.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, his next ability is his E, Imperative Patch. So this is the drone that he commands to follow an ally, constantly healing that ally and allies within its radius, with more healing for the ally that the drone is on. So this is when I said Harmony Orb, AOE Harmony Orb. If you've played Overwatch, it's exactly what it is. He attaches the drone, doesn't have to do anything else other than stay in range. We don't know what the range is at this point. At least I don't. I don't know if you saw anything that was tested.
I haven't seen anything yet.
But
No.
it does break once Ultron gets far enough away.
Or
So
loses line of sight.
or loses line of sight for a period of time. Yes.
Yeah.
So he can't like throw it on a Psylocke and have her flank around the map and have constant healing back there. But it is still like a decent distance away, which again it has to be to fit in with his encephalo ray sniper beam rifle playstyle. So yeah, I think this is being slept on a lot too. Like again, think of Ultron has no burst healing potential, right? Okay.
Right.
We acknowledge that. But think of Mantis's regeneration heal over time. Think of having that 100% uptime on everybody who is in an area. Like that's really good. Like this ability is designed strongly. It's just about like, is it enough to really make a big enough difference? There was one game I saw which was a content creator game. It wasn't bots. I've heard some people talk about this like, oh yeah, you got MVP, but it was bots. It was an all content creator early access game. And the guy who is playing Ultron is a strategist player. And I feel so bad. I cannot remember. It was like a lesser known YouTube channel. He only had like a couple hundred views on the video. He got MVP as Ultron and he got max healing, got like second place for damage, and got MVP, and they won the game. And like all that healing is just from the drone. It's literally the only thing he can do, and he doesn't even freaking have to think about it. Like as long as you're moving it around where your team needs it. So it has more potential than people are giving it credit for.
Yeah, I think it just comes down to he's another strategist who doesn't have burst healing, and with burst damage being so strong in this game, like people are understandably worried about that. Like I've seen the compilations of like, here's the thing going in to fight someone else, and I have this thing on him the whole time, and he just kind of dies really quickly anyway. Because it's not like super. Yeah, it's not super fast how much the healing is, but. Like in a sustained fight, if you're on a comp that's like a bunch of people with more health and they're kind of sustaining, like this could be really good with Wolverines and really good with Vanguards and stuff like that who are going to last a lot longer.
Yeah.
A lot of the early like things I'd seen from people saying, but he can't really heal Vanguards was because people thought that the drone could get destroyed like from damage.
Yeah,
but it doesn't. It only gets destroyed by line of sight and stuff like that. So you can just throw it on a Thor, and unlike the Invisible Woman shield, where it's gonna get broken really quick and not heal anymore, like this can heal them pretty much indefinitely, as long as you're just making sure you can see them and putting it back out there whenever you can.
And again, like I'm not saying that it's like good enough. It might be that the healing value is just too low, but it isn't that the ability is bad. People still have to get out of the mentality of like lifelines are the only healers. Like that. Yeah. That's still where I think at least a decent amount of the criticism is coming from. Because again, that's not the point of this game. Like you do generally need a lifeline healer, but like Adam is still very good in the right team comps. Like Mantis is still very good in the right team comps. If every hero is a lifeline, if every hero is an anchor, if every I've talked about this, like the game isn't fun anymore. It's not Marvel Rivals anymore. It's not a rock, paper, scissors, pick, counter pick game anymore. So his numbers might need tuning, but I don't think his abilities do, in the sense that, like, just because he has no burst healing, he's bad. Like, no.
Right.
That just
Yeah.
allows your burst healer to focus on one target instead of having to divert attention to keep people topped off. Now you can keep people topped off, and you can freaking hunt their strategist because you have unlocked the Z-axis, boy, and you are a sniper. Like, that's
Yeah.
that's the kind of stuff that gets me excited for this character.
Right. He is designed so that his healing is very much like fire and forget, and just like check on it every once in a while and make sure it's still going, which allows him to be a in the air sniper as well. Which, I mean, having that and still having two strategists, because you are getting topped up all the time, like that could be really good, as long as the healing is enough that it's like enough to allow the other strategists to keep everyone alive, right? So like,
Yeah.
I think he's going to be good in pairings with, the places where he might find a home would be in pairings with like a rocket, or obviously like the Luna that's really good and is constantly keeping everyone up, or Cloak and Dagger. That, like, Cloak and Dagger's problem is that they don't have enough burst, but they have a lot of consistent healing, right? So if you layer on even more consistent healing on top of that, that might be enough to keep everyone fine with Cloak and Dagger on their own.
Yeah.
And then you're running around shooting, like, so I think people are just gonna have to figure it out. Like, just like we had to figure out Wolverine, just like we had to figure out Storm. Like, there's something here, and it's clearly on the more harm assist. You're dealing out a bunch of damage, and also just healing on the side. Like,
Right.
there's definitely a place for that, and we've already seen that when we saw the triple strategist guardian comps a whole bunch in top level play and stuff. It's doable.
You ready? You ready for this? Here it is. I've received a message from 2 days from now, and it's telling me that we need to try this. The ultimate optimized, well, almost team up, team comp. Here it is. It's Rocket Penny. It's Luna Hawkeye. It's Iron Man Ultron. It's triple strategist terror with only one tank, but it's on defense, and that tank now has the effectiveness.
You have two pennies. Yeah.
Exactly. You can have 2.5 pennies because you've got Rocket's BRB too. So you've got the bunker locked down with just one tank, and you have everybody else with nutty team ups and two nasty. It. Yeah.
The four of you on the ground are also getting 25 armor anyway, just randomly from the penny nest now.
Yep.
So you're getting that, and then he hits you with 75 other bonus health. Yep. Now you're getting 100 all the time.
Yep.
Yeah, I like this.
This is it. I'm excited. Hawkeye locks people down so that Ultron can snipe.
Yeah. And Luna can do it too. She already could do it before.
Oh, by the way, speaking of sniping, Encephalo Ray does not do critical damage. Really important thing to notice, which is really good for him, actually, because you don't have to aim for the head. You just have to focus on getting the body shot.
Yeah, just hit center mass. Yeah. Cool.
All right.
Yeah, go for the next one.
Yeah. So dynamic flight. So flies quickly in the direction of movement and then enters an accelerated state. So basically he gets essentially a dodge. He doesn't get like invulnerability or anything like that, but he gets a quick burst of speed in whatever direction you're currently moving. And then like the Human Torch, pretty much the exact same thing. He flies a little bit faster for a period of time. Also, as Marvel Rivals loves to do for some godforsaken reason, not put the freaking bonus health effects in ability descriptions. He also gets an overshield from dynamic flight, which I believe is 50 from watching the stream. So this is really strong. This is a really good ability.
This is probably one of his better abilities.
Yeah. This is something that probably doesn't need to see any kind of tuning. He gets a really nice quick burst dodge. to get out of the other team's Iron Man trying to unmake his creation with a maximum pulse.
Or a
And
Black Widow sniping. Yeah, you just dodge
yeah, yeah,
Hawkeye
yeah.
ice arrow.
Um, yeah, I can't wait for the Ultron supremacy memes of like you like foolish meat sack, like you thought you were superior, showing like Hawkeye aiming and Ultron like dashes, and then Encephalo Ray like counter snipes him. Um, but yeah, really cool ability, really strong. I saw this get used to really great potential in all of the gameplay, and yeah, very cool. Finally, his Q, Rage of Ultron. um, Age of Ultron. It's he summons Ultron drones to fire encephalo rays, damaging enemies or healing allies. Kind of misleading. I don't know why they say encephalo ray. I don't know why they want to use that term because it's not at all that. It's
Yeah, it's
just
just lore wise it is.
yeah, right. It's just a completely different ability, though. Um, it's basically I made the joke. I made the joke earlier. It's basically Loki's left click. So they fire a bunch of explosive things that have a pretty large spell field. They do damage to enemies and they heal allies. They do a lot more healing to allies than they do damage to enemies. And actually, sadly, it does less damage than Encephalo Ray does. So this is like where the ultimate soup, like honestly, really underwhelming. This is the most disappointing part of his kit to me. Just because I don't know. It's just kind of sad. I think there is so much potential with like what they could have done with Ultron drones. And I was like, oh man, like you went with that. I don't know. Maybe that's too negative, but I'm not like super impressed with his ult, and I'm not sure that changing numbers will make me excited about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think through what essentially it kind of falls into. It's kind of like trying to think of like what its utility would be, right? Like, as far as the give your team a whole bunch of health thing, we don't actually have one that's aim based yet. So that puts it in a unique spot as a healing ult, both good and bad, right? But it means that you can heal a team that's spread out,
Yeah.
whereas what we have currently are a bunch of big circle unodies where like you have to be in a certain area.
Mm-hmm.
The
It's true.
only one of those that we have that does anything to the other team is Cloak and Daggers,
Yeah.
right? They're the only one that does damage with their ult to the enemy team other than Jeff. So it also is kind of the most aggressive strategist ult that we have. Even if it's not going to kill a bunch of people on its own, it probably shouldn't because it's a strategist ult. So if you're throwing it into a brawl and you're just doing a bunch of extra chip damage on the enemy team while keeping your... I mean, it does do a lot of healing to your team.
It does do a lot of healing. Yeah.
So I 100%, I've seen the videos already from the previous streams where people use it and then just whiff and like don't hit anything because, you know, the team goes around a corner and you have to aim like, and you're up in the sky and all these
You're
kind of
moving
things.
kind of slow. Yeah.
But if you're using it close to the ground, like you're playing Ultron like close with your team when you decide I'm gonna ult, or you're like right above them on a control point or something, I could see that like pushing that area into a big like lopsided kind of battle.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not gonna say it doesn't have its use. I'm just saying it it doesn't it's just not what I wanted from an Ultron ult. Is I
Sure.
think at the end of the day, the most important thing for me, like this doesn't just give me the like power fantasy of playing Ultron. Like I think the rest of it, honestly, it does. You know, it's if you're gonna make Ultron a strategist instead of a Vanguard or a duelist, like I think they did a good job. Um, I just don't. I just don't like his ult.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm just saying I don't think it's going to be as bad as people think it is because I think people, for the reason that you're mentioning of what they want out of Ultron, they want Ultron to commit genocide. Like that's what he does. So
Yeah.
like I think people see, oh, it's a damaging ult from Ultron, and then go, oh, the damage isn't that much, and then just decide it's a bad ult. And I don't think it's actually going to be a bad ult because it's offering from a healing ult, it's offering something that none of the other ones can do, which is
Sure.
heal people who are far away from you.
Yeah.
Like we do not have a way as a strategist to ultimate heal someone who is not right next to you. They're like cloak and dagger chasing someone is the closest
Yeah.
you can do. And
And
at the
there
same
is
time, you're doing damage like Cloak and Daggers is. You're
Yeah.
creating, it's like almost a mini Hela ult, where it's not doing as much damage as Hela's ult, but it is like creating some area denial of like, I don't want to be hit by this in the middle of also fighting this team.
Yeah.
It won't die now.
And what is likely happening if you need to pop ult to heal somebody who's far away from you? What's likely happening is they're engaged with somebody who is either hunting them down or they're hunting someone down, and so that extra burst damage might give them what they need to kill the target anyway.
Well, and the healing certainly is going to keep them alive long enough to do it.
Yeah,
right?
It
feels like you're flipping one-on-ones and you're flipping like 1v2s and you're flipping like fights that are not going well, that are like kind of just like a clump of people fighting, into like, I'm not locked in here with you, you're locked in here with me, right? Like I feel like that's what you're doing with this. So I think this could be
you're locked
good
in here with my boy.
Yeah, I think this could be good in circumstances where it's right for. It's just not. It just doesn't fit the strategist mold that we've seen so far, and it doesn't fit the damage mold that people want it to be. Like, people want it to be a duelist ult, and it's not. It's a very different strategist ult than what we've seen.
But he says extermination. I don't know. Well, we'll find out soon enough. Last but not least, his team up, Nano Ray, Iron Man. So this is with Iron Man. Iron Man's the anchor. Ultron gets the benefit of another ability. So Iron Man uses nanotechnology to upgrade Ultron's arsenal, enhancing his Encephalo Ray to Nano Ray. During its active phase, Ultron fires an unstoppable Nano Ray straight ahead that pierces through all characters, delivering massive damage to enemies while simultaneously restoring health to allies. Massive damage is debatable, but it does do damage. It is really good. I actually, man, low-key, I really agree with one of the top comments on an Ultron video I saw, where they're like, this feels like this just needs to be part of Ultron's kit. And if it was, did you really? Yeah.
Yeah.
How funny. And I'm like, oh man, yeah, I agree. Just like cooldown ability, overcharge his Encephalo Ray. So yep, we already talked about this in the team up. It's mini Moira ult. It's really good. Everything about it's really good. It also gives him like tons of ult charge really quickly. That's another thing that I haven't heard. I haven't seen the numbers on his ult charge, but it does seem to come up pretty quick. So maybe that's another point on the side of it not being as bad as people think it is. But yeah, really, really strong team up. Yep. Now maybe people will hate Instalock duelists a little less when they Instalock Iron Man, because they'll get a really good ability out of it with Ultron.
I will say, on the theme, or on the theory of, hey, they should just add this to his kit, I could see that if like his healing output is his problem, right? Like if he's just not doing enough healing, but he is good on damage and everything else, and they don't want to change his identity at all, and they don't want to like make the drone just like super healing, what they could do is they could just add a little bit of this healing allies that you hit to his regular Encephalo Ray, to his regular left click, make it a little bit more Moira, and like you have it where his left click normally is mostly damage and does a little bit of healing, that you can put the drone on top and stack it at least, right? So that you can heal people quicker and burst a little bit. Yeah. And then when you hit his ult, then it flips, and now all of a sudden he's doing way more healing than he is damage, but he's doing more of both. Well, I guess he's doing less damage. We talked about it in the ult.
Yeah.
But I think like that would be another way to just give him one more source of healing if that is the issue. But I really think that like healing is not his focus. So, maybe that's not necessary. But there's things that they can do with him. Like the core of this kit is super cool. He's flying around, he's sniping, he's doing a bunch of damage. He's able to heal people passively. He's able to, burst up some shields when people need it. If you talk about that without talking about numbers, that sounds like a super cool strategist to have.
Right. And my final thought, like, flight is not one of his abilities, but like they're banking a lot on him being the only flying strategist right now. So there is some like undertuning that they can kind of get away with, because like flight is not just another thing. Like flight is a huge benefit. Yeah. by nature of existing in the map, you counter some of the nastiest backline flankers in the game.
Yeah.
Like
Where's the back line?
Magic,
It's up in the air. What are you
Iron
doing?
Fist, Spider-Man, like
Well, Iron
not that
Fist
they
can fly, so
not as much anymore, not after the nerfs this
oh, are they
season.
nerfing it?
Oh yeah.
Oh, they're
Yeah.
saving Ultron before he
I
exists.
know, I know. Um he can still fly in his ultimate, but yeah, like all of those characters like can do things to you. If Spider-Man gets a nasty web swing, like you're gonna die. But there is so much that Ultron gets away from just by nature of being able to fly. So
Yeah.
many like really nasty angles that he can get. So there's a lot tied into that. That we've never experienced. Whenever they make a flying vanguard, we know it's going to happen. Like you can't fully anticipate how big of a difference that makes because we've only had flying duelists so far. We know that flying duelists play very different from regular duelists, so we
Mhm.
can't fully appreciate yet how that's going to translate to another archetype altogether. And I'm
Right.
really excited to see what that looks like.
Yeah, and to think about that too, there's another role that he can fill by being um a flying strategist. So right now when I play flyers, if there's a Luna on my team, I'm so much
Oh,
happier than I am
yeah.
normally, right?
Yep.
Because she throws that snowflake on you.
Yeah,
She
I know
never
what you're
has
going
to
to say.
think
Yep.
about you again and you survive like crazy. Ultron being able to put the drone on you and also being up in the air where he can see that you're taking damage
Yep.
and decide, am I going to use my ult? Am I going to use my shield? Am I going to throw the drone on you if I had it downstairs? Like having a strategist in the sky with you who doesn't have to like look up away from the team and stop healing to figure out if you're at low health is going to be huge for people who are playing flyers. So he may just be a pocket healer for flyers sometimes as his
Mm.
role, and you're playing a flying comp, so you pick up Ultron because again, they're like the melee brawl comps can't really get to half your team now because you have 3 or 4 people in the air if you pick everyone,
Yeah.
uh, and then on top of that, like you're able to heal the people that are up there a lot easier than
Right.
other people can. Unfortunately, he doesn't have like a generic like aim at someone and heal them ability. It's
Yeah.
just the drone, so that kind of dampens that a little bit because it's not like he's gonna look at someone at Human Torch and point at him and heal him. But um, you can put the drone on him. Flyers are a lot less likely to get bursted down
Yeah.
because people miss a whole bunch trying to get to them. So having the little bit of the drone kind of constantly on you might make you really hard to kill if you're up
Yeah.
there.
Well, and he's benefiting from that too, because I totally forgot to mention it. But in his drone heal, he gets healed too from the radius.
Oh,
So he can't use the drone on himself, but as long as he's within that ring of the drone, he heals himself.
okay.
So if you have that on a flyer and you're up with them and yeah, you're taking
Yeah.
damage too.
Yeah, way back when we did the Psylocke Hero Spotlight, we were talking a little bit about off angling and how you can do a lot of really nasty things if you take a duelist and a strategist up on an off angle where the team have to split their attention, right? And with Ultron pocketing another flyer and both of them getting healed by the drone up in the sky, you're just going to be constantly doing that just by existing. That can be huge. Like the enemy team is constantly split because now there's not just a duelist up there, but there's also a strategist up there keeping them and the team on the ground topped up. They're
Yeah.
going to be more incentivized to start looking towards the sky if there's Ultron because they're trying to take out the strategists.
Right.
And now there's one up in the sky, which splits attention even more. So
Yeah.
that's the thing not to sleep on too.
Yep. Yeah, I'm excited. I am on the side of the people in general, in which he does seem a little undertuned. But I'm excited for let's just say they fix that. Or let's just say we're wrong. Let's say we're wrong. Let's say they fix it. I'm excited for what he's going to do to the game and the meta. And
Yeah.
I like the creativity that I'm seeing from the heroes, that it's not just, a strategy. We've talked about this a bunch, but yeah, strategists aren't just healers. And yeah, anyway,
Yeah,
with all that.
well, before we leave off that, I just want to
Hmm.
mention um, the Lord icon on this is one of the coolest ones in the game for sure. Like I
Oh,
want
oh,
this
oh,
Lord icon so bad. It looks so cool.
yeah. Yeah, Ultron's so cool.
Yeah, this is a very, very good
Yep.
Lord Icon. Also, his KO prompt looks pretty cool. His spray is awesome.
Yeah.
So they did really well on all the what's it called?
Yeah, the meta progression stuff for
Yeah,
him.
yeah, all that stuff. And then on the missions, it's actually
Oh,
I like looking when there's new heroes. I like looking at their proficiency missions to see what they're tracking on you doing, because it gives you a little bit of a hint about like the output that they're expecting on these abilities, and like what they're expecting that you're like focusing on, right? So interestingly here, you've got the 60 minutes one as always, but then you've got reach 10,000 healing for for the first level, which that's not a ton of healing. So I
yeah.
think they know that he's not doing a ton of
That's
healing.
yeah, that's one that's definitely like less than one game for most healers.
Right. And like Invisible Woman's is 25k to get
Yeah.
that. So
Right, right,
they're expecting way less healing output out of him, which means they know that. They know his healing is not the strong part.
right.
Um but then they have achieved 25 KOs and assists together. So interestingly, as a strategist, they're giving him a KOs and assists, right? I
Yeah.
wonder if you get an assist for every time someone with your drone kills someone because you are providing
Ooh.
them something. I'm not sure. That would be something we can talk about in patch notes next week.
Yep.
And then the other one they have is use imperative firewall, which is his armor thing, to add 4,000 extra health. So
Yeah, if he
I
gets
did
the
the math
entire
on that.
team 10 times.
Yeah, I did the math on that. Like 75 health times like 53 or something is
Yeah.
4,000. So 53 people you have to hit is the your team as a whole 10 times or less. Um, so they definitely are not unaware that he's going to be doing a lot of damage and less healing.
Right, 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 right.
Let's trust them a little bit. That
Yeah.
might be useful.
Yeah. And I am willing to do that.
Cool. Well, Ultron looks very cool as Sebastian. Josiah has something to tell you, I guess.
Take it away.
Hey chat, Sebastian Stan here, armed and dangerous again.
All right, thank you, Sebastian. So this is the tiebreaker season finale for Armed and Dangerous. Exactly. So we decided we're gonna make this fun. So 222 is off the table. We cannot do 222
Oh
teams.
baby.
And what we're gonna do here is we're each going to pick a non 222 roll comp, and then we're gonna flip a coin and figure out from that if we have to switch and take the other person's comp that they came up with, and then we'll draft our teams. So, do you want to go? Do you want to pick one first?
Okay, wait. One rule to establish. I assume winning the coin toss is keeping your team,
Oh, I
right?
just figured it was gonna be like heads. We keep the team.
Oh, okay,
As
okay. Yeah,
tails, we
yeah,
switch
yeah,
them.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. All right. So it's gonna be a flip, and then it's gonna be a flick, and then a flip.
Yeah,
Coin
yeah.
toss rules.
Okay.
All
All
right.
right. Do you want to pick a comp first?
Luck be a lady tonight. Please don't give me my team comp. I'm picking the true quick play champion, which is going to be 5 Instalock duelists and one person picking strategist who really wants, who's begging in chat, somebody please pick a Vanguard. But no one does.
All right, and then let's see, what can I do to mess that up? Do I just but then I don't want to be stuck with it. Shoot. Um, I think we're both playing for hopefully the other person has to take our comp. I'm
So
gonna
we're
go.
both just going to screw each other over.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna go with goats, but
Oh.
there's a rivals version called Gator, which is go all tanks one rocket. So it's five. It's 5 vanguards, one rocket.
Takes one rocket. I love
So I
that.
guess just one strategist. There was a video on that. You should look it up, the Gator comp, where like someone was saying in season 1.5 that it was actually really good. Like if your
Oh
team
my
was very
gosh.
coordinated, it was really good. We tried it one night with a bunch of people and we were not good. But
Dude,
It kind of worked sometimes.
that
You would just
poor
rotate
rocket
vanguards
at the
out.
end of it all.
Yeah. But you would just
The
rotate.
vanguards are all high-fiving, and the rocket is just died of exhaustion in the corner.
You would rotate vanguards out from the front line. You'd have one person front line,
Oh
right? And
my
they would rotate
gosh.
out when they got too low, and
Dude,
you would
that's
just cycle
crazy.
through frontline tanks, and you had 5 of them. Like, and rockets healing everything. You were able to keep them up. It
That's
was
freaking
crazy.
crazy.
And you got a BRB when someone goes down. Anyway, we're not doing that right now. But hopefully you are, because hopefully we're gonna switch comps.
I don't know. Well, I don't know which is worse. I feel like I'm gonna win. Actually, I feel like the Vanguard's one has a better chance because
I don't
Vanguards
know.
have.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see.
Well, we need to figure out who has what. So
All right. So heads.
You
yeah.
have 5 DPS, 1 rocket, and I have 5 Vanguards, 1 rocket.
Well, I'm
Tails,
less
we split.
excited now. I'm scared because we both lose. It's tails.
All right.
Oh man.
Have fun with your Vanguards.
Have fun with your duelists. All right, let's see what we got. Let's see.
Okay,
what
here we
got.
go. Your
Yeah.
nominees are Magneto or Hulk.
All right, big money. I'm going with Magneto.
All right. And then I gotta pick a duelist. So I get Hawkeye or Wolverine.
Ooh.
I'm gonna take Wolverine since you got a bunch of Vanguards.
The best counter to my team comp. What a
All right.
what a coincidence.
Doctor Strange or Hulk.
Oh, Doctor Strange it is.
All right. And I get Star-Lord or Psylocke.
Ooh.
That's a tough. I'm gonna go with Psylocke. I've been playing a lot of Psylocke recently.
Okay.
Okay. You get Groot or Venom.
I think Venom needs to be in this mix.
Okay. You're not just gonna anchor the whole thing down.
No.
Black Panther or Iron Fist. Okay.
Oh.
Iron Fist, my other tank
Jeez.
buster.
Are you serious? I've lost.
Yeah, there's not really DPS busters on the Vanguard side.
Yeah.
Emma Frost or Thor.
Emma every time.
Yeah. All right, I get Human Torch or Hawkeye. Let's just go in the sky away from everyone. Human Torch. This is gross. All right, your last Vanguard, Hulk or Groot.
I'm trying not to think about the numbers at all. Hulk is my only chance of anchoring that Human Torch, so I'm going Hulk.
All right. And my last duelist, Iron Man or Hawkeye.
Jeez.
I'm staying in the sky. It's Iron Man. In honor of 2.5.
This is messed up.
Here we go. Okay, your lone strategist.
Give me my strategist.
You have half the tank roster in the game on your team.
If this is, oh my freaking goodness. Okay, Loki
or Mantis.
I have to go. I have to go Loki. Loki can at least copy your Iron Man and go after your flyers or something, you know.
And you guys can all just stand in a circle.
Yeah. Loki pops all his runes and then he copies one of my tanks so that it's a 6 tank comp. There we go.
Okay, so I have Invisible Woman or Mantis, and probably stats why Invisible Woman's probably better. But Mantis, realistically, if I was doing this comp, Mantis is the only one that's gonna have all these flyers and flankers have any sort of healing.
And she can give freaking damage boost to Wolverine and Iron Fist, and I'm done.
I'm doing it. Yeah. So I'm gonna win with at a 52.16 win rate. Yeah.
But you LVP Wolverine.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Wolverine's the reason why you win.
Human Torch is the MVP. That's because his stats are just so good right now. Wolverine's probably aren't, but and then Hulk is your SVP and your LVP is Magneto.
Dang, and Hulk barely made the cut for me.
All right, so my giving you the Gator comp won me the season.
Gosh dang it. Luck was not a lady tonight. Well,
I'm just gonna write this down in our notes. Nick is season 2 champion.
No. You don't need to write that down. That's messed up.
I gotta have it for posterity. All right.
Oh man. let's just move on to our mailbag. Reddit take of the week. So this week's mailbag comes in the form of a Spotify comment from episode 14, which was, what if we didn't play certain heroes? This is W Blood saying, different strokes, LOL. The reasons you listed for why you don't like Mr. Fantastic are why I fell in love with the hero as soon as he came out. I didn't really vibe with any of them before him. I've never played a hero like him in any game. It's awesome. Hey, W Blood, different strokes for different folks is right. And I'm glad that someone like Mr. Fantastic exists in the game, even though I do not vibe with him. If all of the heroes in the game were broody villain edgelords,
I wouldn't play it.
Nick wouldn't play it, which is why Nick has never made it more than 10 minutes into any Souls-like game with me before.
That is not true. I've made it multiple hours, thank you. I made it past like the third boss in Demon Souls. Thank you very much.
Okay, that's right.
And then
that's
I got
right.
to the asylum and I was like, no, I'm done.
No, I can't do this. But no, diversity in the cast is great. We need goofy people, we need broody people, we need funny, we need tragedy, comedy, all that stuff. So I'm glad. I wouldn't remove him.
And now with the Future Foundation skin, Mr. Fantastic is also going to be on the awesome side of things.
Yeah,
that skin is so cool. And I'm hoping that getting that, because it's the free one in the combat chest. I'm hoping that getting that is what finally gets me to start playing him again, because I keep seeing that he's getting better and they're like making his kit more fun, and I really want to try him, but I just can't get myself to do it. So,
but you're still gonna have to deal with whoa every time.
What do you mean deal with? That's a perk.
Oh well, again, in the words of W Blood, different strokes, man.
Everyone on the enemy team, all the Josiahs on the enemy team, anytime I use my ult, are distracted by, oh, I hate that sound. It's a perk. It's like the Emma Frost skin advantage thing.
Yeah, right. Debilitates the edgelords on the enemy team by being cringe.
Yeah, by the power of cringe.
Oh man, I like it. Well, thanks for the comment, W Blood. I'm glad you like Mr. Fantastic. We do have 2 Reddit takes for you this week. I thought that the first one was pretty appropriate given the nature of the balance changes in 2.5, which technically we haven't really covered, but we've alluded to a lot. This one comes from Pop Tarts 2090. Nice. And the title is, honestly, I do feel bad about this. And it's a 2-panel meme of Black Panther on the top saying GG no heals, and then the teary-eyed cat giving a thumbs up on the bottom with the caption saying, the solo healer who is hiding behind the solo tank trying not to die and didn't even see him diving behind enemy lines. Yeah, there's a reason why the dive meta is getting a little slap on the wrist in this balance patch.
Just a little one.
And this is one of the reasons, for sure. Just supports getting absolutely annihilated by freaking Iron Fists and Psylocke cutting right through the front line and just eating them for breakfast.
Yep. Also, the meme of all the Genji mains saying, need healing, while on the complete opposite side of the map behind the enemy team is alive and well. They're all just playing Black Panther now, apparently. So, or Spider-Man. So,
yeah, exactly.
But you know what? Now they're going to have an Ultron in the sky who can ult on them from behind the enemy lines to heal them. Throw a drone on them. It's something.
There you go. There is something there.
Dive got something this patch and lost everything else.
Right. There is a comment on here that just to put the nail in the coffin. The solo healer isn't at fault, to be honest. Of course not. There's no scenario outside of a meme comp where 4 DPS is the play ever. And yeah, and I mean it's possible to win. I'm not saying that. You can do it, but it shouldn't be. You winning is only because of a skill imbalance, not because you have strategically outperformed the enemy team comp.
According to Rivals meta, if you want to play 1 Vanguard, 1 Strategist, 4 Duelists, you can win 25% of the time.
Nice.
Oh
man.
I still want to say it for all of the people in all my ranked games who are like, three Duelists is fine. We don't need to do 2-2-2 and swap off Vanguard as soon as there's a second one. 2-2-2 is still the only thing with a positive win rate in the game. Please play it.
Please. And please don't force roll queue. I will quit.
Yeah, but please enforce your own rule queue for yourself.
Yeah. Yep. All right, and then our second take of the week is by I should have read these names beforehand. Lunes Linetti Spaghetti. And it is a picture of Squirrel Girl and her gaggle o' squirrels. The caption of the post is, "What's the ult you hate the most?" Linetti Spaghetti takes this post in the like obnoxious way because they say, for me, it's the squirrels. They're not dangerous, but they annoy me every time I see them. To people like, hey, that don't talk about Nick that way, okay? Nick gets killed by those squirrels all the time.
Yeah, and that's why they're annoying. They're awful. Dude, we were in a game last night. I'm sorry, story time about squirrels killing me. We were in a game last night where we were in Midtown, and the enemy team on defense in the first little street hallway right at the beginning, right? Mm-hmm. They had a Groot and a Squirrel Girl, and the Groot literally set up a pinball machine of walls up and down the street, like angled at weird angles. And then Squirrel Girl ulted. And those squirrels, I have never seen something bounce so fast between walls. They were just like back and forth along the Groot walls and the side. Do you know how much damage you take if you get stuck between a Groot wall and a squirrel?
Oh, sure.
You die instantly.
Yeah.
And my entire team died instantly. It was disgusting.
Well, that's like the my story of me playing Winter Soldier and Mr. Fantastic on Hell's Heaven, bouncing on the really low hallway in the ceiling and just like instantly eliminating me.
Yes. Anything that bounces and does damage, like resets its damage every time it bounces, can be absolutely disgusting in the right scenarios. So don't tell me I'm dumb for dying to squirrels.
I never said
I
you're
play
dumb.
in small hallways.
I was surprised.
And I play on the objective where there's an extra wall for them to bounce off of all the time. Yeah. Play in the objective, and the squirrels hate it.
Yeah. My least favorite, I think, has got to be Iron Fist, just because Iron Fist is my least favorite hero to go up against. I would rather fight anybody than an Iron Fist. And when I hear Iron Fist ult, like, I know I'm dead. If I'm playing a strategist, I know that I'm going to die, and there's nothing I can do about it. I can't get away because he's going to chase me across the map, into the sky, whatever's going on. There is no escape from cheaper Town Hall.
Yeah. I was surprised that for annoying, you didn't say Mr. Fantastic just because of the noises. We just talked about that.
Well, yeah, you're right. But see, I took it, the Reddit post, I mean, the comment is annoying, but I took it as just like hate, because I hate hearing cheaper Town Hall. More often than not, it means that I die.
I'm looking at our list of ults. I think I have to go with Star-Lord.
He was gonna be my second or third. It was Iron Fist, Spider-Man, and Star-Lord.
Yeah, I hear legendary and I go, great. I have 15 seconds where I have the choice of walking back from spawn, or not playing and hiding in a corner.
You
I
know
don't
it's
want to do
getting
either.
buffed, too. It got buffed.
No, don't tell me
Yeah.
that.
It has longer range now.
All right, well, episode's over. We're done. I'll try to be ready for next week to talk about the terribleness that is that old being buff.
Yeah. Absolutely bonkers. They really want you to. They nerfed the dive comp, but they just made Star-Lord able to dive from across the map, basically.
Yeah.
On that note, that concludes episode 17 of Friends and Rivals. If you're interested in even more of the content we're putting out, you can consider joining us over on Instagram at Friends and Rivals, or on X at Friend Rival Pod, or on Discord via the link in the show notes. If you've got a question you'd like us to answer in our next episode, drop it in the Discord chat or in the comments on Spotify, or send us an email directly to our Gmail. All right, everybody, we will see you in the multiverse.
See ya.